Chapter 290. Longao. I'll let you experience my black tortoise armor. Before Longao could react, Old Fatty's body had already dashed out. Not daring to be careless, Longao fiercely punched out with both fists. However, Old Fatty did not choose to dodge. He took the Dragon God Arm and Tiger God Arm head-on. Pung, pung. The sound of copper colliding rang out. Longao realized that ever since Old Fatty took out the black tortoise armor, even if he stood still, it would not be a problem for him to hit him. What a terrifying black tortoise armor. Longao finally understood why Old Fatty was so confident. Ha ha ha, you want to break my black tortoise armor? You're not qualified. Old Fatty laughed as he attacked. In this way, Longao seemed to be in a passive position, being suppressed by Old Fatty step by step. Seeing this situation, Guanfeng and the others laughed. They were very confident in Old Fatty's black tortoise armor. With its strong defense, Longao could only move around and take the hits. In the blink of an eye, 5 moves had passed. Longao did not have the slightest bit of carelessness. His fists were still fiercely punching out, each punch stronger than the previous. However, Old Fatty's black tortoise armor was too strong. No matter how Longao used his strength, he was still unable to break it. Could it be that he could not even take care of a venerable? Longao knew that if he could not even defeat Old Fatty, then not to mention the 3 venerables of the Blood Sea sect, the 9 venerables, he could leave now. The enmity of his family was absolutely irreconcilable. Longao could not choose to give up. Since he could not defeat Old Fatty in a head-on clash, he could only stake it all. Longao was still fiercely punching Old Fatty. Old Fatty did not dodge at all. Instead, he used the black tortoise armor to block and punched back. Soul-subduing seal, underworld burning seal, and heaven-burying seal were used consecutively. Longao hoped to use the destruction seal to corrode Old Fatty's soul before breaking his black tortoise armor. He had to admit that the destruction seal was very powerful. Old Fatty's face suddenly froze. He realized that in his mind, there was a strange power that was corroding his soul. What exactly happened? Not daring to be careless, Old Fatty immediately diverted his power to destroy this power. This way, Old Fatty's attack power was reduced by a lot. He was overjoyed. Longao did not let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Punch after punch, he viciously smashed his opponent. He already knew that his opponent's black tortoise armor was powerful. Longao specifically targeted Old Fatty's other areas. He did not believe that he could not smash Old Fatty to death. Around the blood pool, everyone saw that Old Fatty was only defending and not attacking. They were all shocked. They didn't know what was wrong with Old Fatty. Was he going easy on Longao? Master, what happened to Old Fatty? Guanfeng was the most talented master in the history of the Blood Sea sect. He was not even 50 years old, but he had already successfully broken through to the sovereign realm. Therefore, Guanfeng's position in the Blood Sea sect was very high. It could be said that he meant what he said. Old Fatty seems to be in trouble. I heard that Longao has 2 treasures that can change the flow of time. It seems like Longao has changed the flow of time in Old Fatty. Master, in this battle of the 9 states, we sent a void spirit to kill souls. It seems like we failed. Humph, that idiot Huatang. Thinking of this, Guanfeng was furious. He thought that the Blazing Flame sect would ally with other sects, but he never expected that the Blazing Flame sect would choose the Ghost King sect. Master, what should we do now? Everyone could see that in the battle between Old Fatty and Longao, Old Fatty was suppressed everywhere. He was forced to retreat step by Longao, as if he could be killed at any time. Waving his hand, Guanfeng said in a serious tone, "This is not the right time for you to make a move. Let's wait and see." Old Fatty has the black tortoise battle armor protecting him. It will not be easy for Longao to defeat Old Fatty. On the blood pool, Martial Field Longao successfully attacked Old Fatty, and his power began to erode Old Fatty's soul. Longao didn't give up on this opportunity. Both of his fists moved together, and one punch after another landed on Old Fatty's body like raindrops. Longao didn't give Old Fatty any chance to speak. At this moment, Old Fatty was depressed to the extreme. He couldn't figure out how his opponent did it. How could he erode his soul without making a sound? Just when Old Fatty was trying his best to resist the soul power that was invading his mind, Longao kicked Old Fatty's body to the ground. Without any hesitation, Longao released a soul attack. Under such circumstances, Old Fatty couldn't resist at all. With a scream, Old Fatty's body began to tremble. Longao didn't let go of such a rare opportunity. He flipped over and landed on Old Fatty's body. Punch after punch, he began to mercilessly smash Old Fatty. Black tortoise armor? Let's see if your armor is stronger, or if my fist is stronger. Longao used the dragon god's arm and the tiger god's arm to mercilessly smash Old Fatty. At this moment, Old Fatty's soul was severely injured. He couldn't care less about Longao's attacks. He was trying his best to repair his soul. 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. In the blink of an eye, Longao had already delivered over 100 punches. One fell to the ground, and the other was riding on Old Fatty's body. When the surrounding people saw this, they were completely dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Originally, they thought that Old Fatty could defeat Longao with the black tortoise armor. However, the situation changed. Not only did he fail, but he was also being mercilessly smashed by Longao. Everyone was dumbfounded by Longao's attacks. They were all stunned. Even if Longao won, the way he smashed Old Fatty made him look like a hooligan. It was a pain in the ass. However, Longao ignored everyone. So what if he was a hooligan? As long as he could defeat the enemy, it was fine. Just like that, Longao smashed Old Fatty as fast as he could, especially the black tortoise armor. He didn't believe that Old Fatty's black tortoise armor couldn't be smashed open. The dragon god's arm and the tiger god's arm mercilessly smashed. Longao used all his strength. By the time Guanfeng and the rest reacted, Longao had already smashed thousands of punches, causing the black tortoise armor to cave in. Kacha, kacha, kacha. At this moment, cracking sounds came from the black tortoise armor. Following that, the black tortoise armor shattered. However, Longao still ignored the people who were rushing over and continued to smash the armor. Without the slightest bit of mercy, Longao smashed Old Fatty's head with his fist. In an instant, he had delivered dozens of punches. A pair of arms that could even break the black tortoise armor, let alone a head. In the end, Longao smashed Old Fatty to death. By the time Guanfeng and the rest arrived, Old Fatty had already been smashed to death. Old Fatty's eyes were wide open, as if he died with a grievance. Until the moment of his death, Old Fatty still couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Chapter 291. Longao, you killed Old Fatty? Looking at Old Fatty, who was smashed to death on the ground, Guanfeng's face was gloomy to the extreme. Venerables were the most important existences to the Blood Sea sect. After all, there were only 10 of them in the entire Blood Sea sect. Guanfeng, I had a life and death battle with him. Do you want me to show mercy? If that's the case, then don't send out such trash. Longao's words were very arrogant, but in this situation, he did have the qualifications to be arrogant. To be able to smash a venerable wearing a black tortoise armor to death, this in itself already showed Longao's strength. Guanfeng was speechless. After all, he couldn't blame Old Fatty for this. If he wanted to blame someone, he could only blame himself for being too arrogant. He originally thought that the other party had just advanced to the Venerable One realm and had not stabilized his realm yet. Old Fatty alone was enough to kill Longao, but the result was the exact opposite. Not only did Old Fatty not kill Longao, but he was also smashed to death by the other party. Good, very good. Guanfeng turned around and said, since Longao is so arrogant, the 9 of you attack together. Remember, don't kill him. I want him alive. If it was before, the 9 venerables would definitely not join hands to deal with a junior. After all, if this was spread out, they would be laughed to death. However, the situation was completely different now. The opponent's strength had deeply shocked them. There couldn't be the slightest mistake. The 9 venerables knew very well that Old Fatty had been smashed to death. If anything happened to the 9 of them, the Blood Sea sect would lose a lot of face. Longao returned to his position. As for Guanfeng, he had already left the martial arts field. No matter how angry Guanfeng was, the 5 great sects were watching from all sides. At the very least, he had to abide by the martial arts ethics. Otherwise, how could the Blood Sea sect compete with the Ghost King sect in the future? The 9 of you can come together. Longao didn't want to continue wasting time. If he fought them one by one, who knew how long it would take? In fact, the biggest reason why Longao chose the team battle was that once the 9 venerables took turns fighting him, he would be exhausted to death even if he could defeat all 9 of them in the end. This trip to the Blood Sea sect was not just for the 9 venerables. The enmity of his clan was irreconcilable. He had to destroy the entire Blood Sea sect before Longao would give up. Since you want to die, we'll fulfill your wish. Longao was so arrogant that he didn't even put the 9 venerables in his eyes. How could the 9 venerables endure this? It was simply unbearable. The secret cave could endure, but the chrysanthemum couldn't endure. Big Brother Dugu, Brother Long's arms, seemed to be very strong. He was actually able to break through the black tortoise armor. Everyone present was an expert among experts. Of course, they could see how strong Longao's arms were. No matter what, Old Fatty's mystical tortoise battle armor's defensive power was very clear to everyone. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, no one would have believed that Xiao Chun had broken the black tortoise armor with his bare hands. Although Brother Long smashed Old Fatty to death, but 1 against 9, I'm afraid. Although Xia Jun did not finish his words, the meaning in his words was already very clear. No matter what, Longao was only one person, but the other party had a total of 9 venerables. 1 against 9, the result could be imagined. Dugu Bai was very helpless. He bitterly smiled and said, Brother Long always surprises me. I'm already used to it. Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Xia Jun also smiled. On the other side, seeing Longao smashing Old Fatty to death, Ghost King Aotion was also very surprised. Everything that happened to Longao already showed how strong his talent was. If Longao became a member of the Ghost King sect, wouldn't it mean that the Ghost King sect had another expert? Gradually, Ghost King Aotion's attitude towards Longao changed. No matter what, no one would refuse a genius to join. Moreover, this genius was someone that his daughter liked. Ghost King Aotion had already decided that as long as Longao could defeat the 9 venerables, then no matter what the Blood Sea sect did, he would protect Longao. 1 against 9. Longao and the 9 venerables looked at each other. Before the battle even started, the powerful auras from both sides fiercely clashed together. Sparks flew everywhere, and everyone took 3 steps back. The battle between the 10 venerables, just the auras alone, were extremely terrifying. At this time, Longao moved, striking first to gain the initiative. Seeing this situation, everyone was a little stunned, because they never thought that Longao would actually choose to take the initiative to attack in a situation of 1 against 9. Not to mention the others, even the 9 venerables did not think that Longao would take the initiative to attack. Their faces turned cold at the same time. Longao's arrogance was simply not putting them in his eyes. Kill. The 9 venerables moved together, like 9 small mountains moving quickly. Rumbling sounds could be heard, but Longao still chose to use both of his fists to attack randomly, and his speed was at its peak. However, the 9 venerables did not put Longao in their eyes at all. Each of them fiercely punched out. No matter how fast Longao's speed was, it was impossible for him to deal with 9 people. Just like this, Longao's fist shadows could only block 3 of the venerables. The remaining 6 venerables did not hesitate to attack Longao. A muffled groan. Longao only let out a muffled groan after being attacked by the venerables, but he did not retreat at all. He wanted to let the 9 venerables look down on him. This way, he would have a chance to deal with the 9 venerables and end the battle quickly. Longao clearly knew that he was facing 9 venerables at the same time. The longer the battle dragged on, the more powerless he would be. After being attacked by the 6 venerables for a while, Longao took out the God-sealing pearl and released a strange energy, enveloping the 9 venerables. Regardless of whether Longao's cultivation had broken through to the void realm or not, the spiritual energy in his body had already turned into spiritual yuan. Therefore, He used the god sealing pearl to envelop the 9 venerables, directly locking them down. A terrifying scene appeared. The 9 venerables who were in a mess just a moment ago were suddenly frozen in place. They couldn't move at all. Only their eyeballs kept rolling around. Looking at the 9 venerables being locked down, Ao Tian, Guanfeng, Dugubai, Xiajun, and Xiafeng seemed to know what had happened. Could this be Long Ao's treasure? They had only heard of Long Ao's treasure, but had never seen it before. When they saw it for themselves, they were incomparably shocked. Locking down the opponent, even if it was only for 3 seconds, was enough to affect the outcome of the battle. Guanfeng's face was gloomy to the extreme. Black lines appeared on his face, but he did not go up in the end. No matter what, Long Ao was fighting 1 against 9. The Blood River sect had already lost a lot of face. Now that the battle had not officially ended, if he went up to deal with Long Ao, even if he could kill Long Ao, what face would he have left? What face would the Blood River sect have left? Chapter 292. In the end, Guanfeng didn't make a move. Being locked onto by the other party, the 9 venerables were shocked to the extreme. They tried their best to break free. Long Ao calculated and calculated, but he was wrong. If it was a one-on-one fight, he believed that the God Sealing Pearl could lock onto any venerables for 3 seconds. But to lock onto 9 venerables for 3 seconds at the same time was almost impossible. The 9 venerables broke free at the same time. In just 1 second, the 9 venerables broke free. The lock was broken. Long Ao's heart sank. He never thought that with his current strength, he wouldn't be able to lock onto the 9 venerables for 3 seconds. Long Ao had full confidence that if he could use the God Sealing Pearl to lock onto the 9 venerables, even if he could only lock onto them for 3 seconds, he could kill at least 4 venerables in one go. All of this was broken, but Long Ao didn't just sit there and wait for death. With the lock broken, Long Ao once again used the God Punishing Mirror. With the 2 sides of the mirror, he directly used the reverse flow of the Yin side to change the flow of time. At the same time, the 9 venerables discovered that their speed was slower by a full 3 seconds. What kind of concept was this? The 9 venerables were completely stunned. First, their bodies were locked onto, then the flow of time was changed. They were 3 seconds slower, and the 9 of them had no idea what was happening. The God-punishing mirror changed the flow of time. 3 seconds. The flow of time around the 9 great venerables changed, and the speed slowed down by 3 seconds. This also meant that Long Ao's speed would increase by 3 seconds. For a life and death battle between venerables, 3 seconds was often enough to determine the outcome of life and death. However, Long Ao didn't choose to fight in close combat. Long Ao had already calculated. Even if he chose to fight in close combat, he could at most kill 3 venerables. Then, what about the remaining 6 venerables? Fighting 1 against 6, Long Ao still didn't have full confidence that he could kill 6 venerables in a short time. It was because of this that Long Ao used the God-punishing mirror to change the flow of time around the 9 venerables. Then, he chose to use a soul attack. Using a soul attack to attack the 9 venerables at the same time, there was a high chance of a backlash. After all, if Long Ao wanted to attack the 9 venerables at the same time, he would have to split his soul into 9 parts and attack at the same time. One divided into 9 and attacked at the same time. Long Ao was even more aware that he had chosen to attack the 9 venerables with his soul at the same time. If he suffered a backlash, the consequences would be unimaginable. Before Long Ao could launch his soul attack, the 9 supremacies had already broken through the flow of time and returned to their normal speed. Startled, Long Ao never imagined that his God-punishing mirror and God-sealing pearl would not be able to display the power they should have. Not daring to be careless, the wild devouring blade instantly appeared in his hand. Then, he ruthlessly slashed at the 9 people. Long Ao instantly superimposed the first 4 styles of blood-drinking 8 styles. At the same time that the saberlight slashed down, Long Ao's body also darted over. He targeted a venerable one and directly punched him with both fists without caring about anything else. The Divine Dragon Arm and the Nether Tiger Arm punched out as fast as lightning. One punch after another, the fist force was like a tornado, not giving the venerable a chance to catch his breath. When the other 8 venerables saw Long Ao attack, they were enraged and rushed over separately. In everyone's opinion, as long as the 8 venerables arrived, Long Ao would definitely choose to give up. But what was the result? Long Ao, who had already put away his wild devouring blade, completely ignored the attacks of the 8 venerables. His fists were still fiercely smashing at the venerable one. Speaking of which, this venerable one could be considered to be extremely tragic. He could not understand why Long Ao would not smash others, but only him. Brother Long is only attacking and not defending. This cannot continue. Big Brother Dugu, what is the meaning of this? Hearing Dugu Bai's words, Xia Jun was very tempted. Dugu Bai's voice was extremely solemn as he said, Brother Long knows that it will be difficult for him to win against 9. So, Brother Long chose to only attack and not defend, not leaving himself any way out. Xia Jun was also a martial artist, and a powerful one at that. Of course, he knew what Dugu Bai meant. Only attacking and not defending, not leaving himself any way out, killing his way out from a hopeless situation. In other words, Long Ao was already prepared. Either you die or I die. I can't do what Brother Long did. I cannot do it either. Ghost King Ao Tion's eyes were fixed on the battle in the distance. Ao Tion did not seem to have expected Long Ao to only attack and not defend, wanting to kill his way out from the attacks. Only attacking and not defending looked very powerful, but Ao Tion was very clear in his heart that if it was a one-on-one situation, Long Ao could definitely win. But now, in a 1-against-9 situation, Long Ao only attacked and did not defend. If he was careless, even if he could kill 1 or 2 people, he would definitely be killed by the remaining people. Talent, strength, character, calmness. Long Ao's performance at this moment was very tempting to Ao Tion. There were several times when he wanted to make a move, but in the end, he restrained himself. Ao Tion was not a fool. Of course, he knew that if he made a move to help Long Ao, then Guanfeng would definitely help the 9 venerables. This way, it would not be a battle between Long Ao and the Blood Sea sect, but a battle between the Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect. The Ghost King sect was not afraid of the Blood Sea sect at all, but no matter what, this was still the Blood Sea sect's headquarters. The Blood Sea sect had 3 venerables. Once the battle started, the one who would suffer in the end would be the Ghost King sect. Moreover, Ao Tion still wanted to see Long Ao's performance. He was very much looking forward to seeing Long Ao only attack and not defend, and how he would kill his way out from the massacre. Zhang Mo's face grew colder and colder as he watched the battle on the training field. This was because he had never imagined that in just a few months, Long Ao had not only broken through to the Nihility Catastrophe realm, but even reached the Nihility Sovereign realm. What did this cultivation speed mean? Now, Zhang Mo already knew that his son was indeed not killed by Long Ao, but as for who the murderer was, he still had not found out. But Zhang Mo knew that no matter what, his son's death was related to Long Ao. It was because of this that Zhang Mo clenched his fists tightly, and his face was extremely gloomy. This time, when the 6 sects started the battle, before Zhang Mo could deal with Long Ao, the Blood Sea sect was 1 step ahead of him and destroyed the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family. Before he could react, Long Ao had already killed his way to the Blood Sea sect alone. Although he was somewhat unwilling in his heart, Zhang Mo knew that no matter what happened today, it was almost impossible for Long Ao to leave the Blood Sea sect. No matter what, Long Ao's death, no matter who killed him, would only be good for Zhang Mo and not bad. In the 5 great sects, some people hoped that Long Ao would die, while some didn't. But regardless of whether they hoped for him or not, everyone knew that Long Ao had killed his way to the Blood Sea sect alone. There was only one result: death. Chapter 293. On the Blood Pool Martial Arts Field, Long Ao simply ignored the attacks of the 8 great venerables and used all his strength to smash the venerables that he recognized. Punch after punch, there was no gap at all. Long Ao, you're courting death. Seeing Long Ao only attacking and not defending, smashing the other party with all his might, the 8 great venerables were all shocked. They all thought that Long Ao's brain had water in it. Both sides would suffer. Long Ao's intention was simple. He wanted to kill his opponent even if he had to risk being injured by the 8 supremacies. Because of that, the 8 supremacies sped up. They attacked from all 4 directions at the same time. Longao had no chance to escape. Without waiting for this venerable to finish speaking, Longao's merciless fists had already ruthlessly smashed on this venerable's face. His fists covered the sky and covered the earth. His fists were like raindrops, unceasingly and unceasingly. In a short few seconds, this venerable was smashed no less than several hundred fists. Dragon Tiger fists. Longao channeled all the energy in his body and threw out the last punch. However, the 8 supremacies had already closed in from all directions. The situation was right in front of them. If Longao gave up and continued to throw punches, he believed that he could escape. However, if Longao did not give up and insisted on doing so, there would only be one outcome. Both sides would suffer. What would Longao choose? Everyone was curious. They wanted to know what choice Longao would make. Would he give up the attack and choose to dodge temporarily? Or would he choose to continue attacking and cause both sides to suffer? Although Guanfeng did not want to lose a supremacies, it would be worth it if a supremacies could exchange for Longao's life. If it was in the past, Guanfeng would definitely not be willing to lose a supremacies in exchange for Longao's life. However, after seeing Longao's talent and strength, Guanfeng was very wary of Longao. With Longao's talent and potential, it was hard to imagine how strong he would be once he grew up. Guanfeng could not gamble on Longao's growth, nor did he dare to gamble. If he lost, not only himself, but the entire Blood Sea sect would be in trouble. It was precisely because of this that Guanfeng hoped to lose a venerable one. He only wanted to deal with Longao. The 8 venerables didn't know what choice Longao would make. Would he choose to make both sides suffer, or would he choose to temporarily retreat? Just as everyone thought that Longao would choose to dodge, Longao's actions completely shocked everyone. In the end, Longao chose to continue attacking. But Longao was no fool. He certainly wouldn't throw away his life for nothing. As he continued to attack, he also used the God Sealing Bead and God Judgment Mirror at the same time. 2 strange forces spread out, instantly enveloping the 8 venerables. Then, the 8 venerables were locked in place. Even the flow of time was changed, slowing down their speed by 3 seconds. Longao was full of confidence. As long as he locked in place and reversed the flow of time for a second, he would have full confidence in killing the venerables in front of him. With their bodies locked in place and their speed slowed down, the 8 venerables naturally knew what was going on. Seizing this rare opportunity, Longao didn't hesitate. He continued to chase after the venerables and fiercely punched out with his fists. The venerables were completely scared out of their wits. He didn't expect that Longao would be so reckless. He even chose to make both sides suffer in order to kill him. Was there something wrong with his head? Why did he choose him? The venerables were depressed to the extreme. He really couldn't understand why Lin Fan chose him. What did he do wrong? Just as the venerables were about to resist with all their might, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his soul. It was as if countless sharp swords had pierced into his soul. Under such circumstances, the venerable's state of mind was completely messed up. Moreover, the venerables didn't expect that Lin Fan would choose to use a soul attack. As the most powerful martial skill, not everyone knew how to use a soul attack. Longao was overjoyed that his soul attack had successfully damaged the venerable's soul. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao directly began to smash. The Divine Dragon Arm and the Hell Tiger Arm intertwined and smashed randomly. One punch after another, the fist force ruthlessly smashed on the opponent's body at the same time. The fist force also followed the opponent's body. The venerables couldn't resist at all when their soul and body were attacked at the same time. He fell to the ground and couldn't get up. Until he died, he didn't understand why Longao chose him. After successfully killing a venerables, Longao turned around and shot in another direction. Before he arrived, the fist force had already arrived. Seeing that his elder was killed, the venerables didn't dare to be careless. They instinctively dodged. Longao had already left quickly and escaped from the encirclement of the 8 venerables. After breaking the lock-on and time reversal, the 8 venerables didn't continue to attack. They just stood there in a daze, looking at the corpse on the ground. Not only the 8 venerables, but everyone else was also stunned. No one had expected such an outcome. Under the encirclement of the 8 venerables, not only did Longao manage to break out, he even killed the venerables. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, would they believe it? Longao's counterattack made everyone re-evaluate Longao. Brother Long didn't disappoint me. With such strength, he can look down on everyone below the Supreme Being level. Xia Jun nodded. He sighed at Brother Dugu's words. It was hard to imagine that Longao could really kill a venerables under the joint attack of 9 venerables. They lost another venerables? In addition to Old Fatty, in just a few minutes, the Blood Sea sect had already lost 2 venerables. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to the Blood Sea sect. Guanfeng seemed to be unable to accept it. He said in a deep voice, "Go all out and kill Longao." Just a moment ago, Guanfeng said that he wanted to capture Longao alive. But after losing another venerables, Guanfeng couldn't take it anymore. The Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect were fighting for dominance in the Tianzhou. Every venerables that they lost meant that the Blood Sea sect had less chances. At this moment, Guanfeng's heart was filled with anger. If he could, he wanted to do it himself. Guanfeng was a supreme being. He wasn't someone that venerables could compare to, but Guanfeng couldn't do it. 10 venerables teamed up to deal with Longao. This was already a loss of face for the Blood Sea sect. If he did it himself, the Blood Sea sect would be laughed at by the world. The 8 venerables looked at the corpse on the ground and ordered the disciples of the Blood Sea sect to carry the corpse away. The 8 venerables glared at Longao. Among them, the strongest one, Chao Chong, said in a deep voice, "Longao, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. I will make you suffer the most painful torment in the world until you die. Your crimes are unforgivable." Thank you, Blood Sea sect, for letting me understand a principle. The winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. Chapter 294. The winner takes all. Do you think you've won? The faces of Chao Chong and the others were extremely gloomy and murderous. They wanted nothing more than to kill Longao and tear him into pieces. Ha ha ha, since I can kill a venerable one and a second one, I can kill all of you? With just you? Before Chao Chong could finish speaking, Longao's body moved again. He still chose to take the initiative to attack. This time, Longao directly chose to use a soul attack. He split into 8 and the 8 soul powers chose to attack the 8 venerables. However, the result was the same. It was useless. If Longao attacked a venerable one with all his strength, his soul attack might succeed. However, once he split into 8, his power was greatly reduced, and he could not cause any harm to the 8 venerables. Longao had already guessed this, so he was not discouraged at all. At the same time that both fists smashed out fiercely, Longao's hands began to form seals. However, the extermination seal that Longao used this time was clearly much stronger than the soul-suppressing seal, burning underworld seal, and heaven-burying seal. The 4th seal of the destruction seal was the doomsday seal. There were a total of 18 seals in the destruction seal. Long Fu had only taught Longao the first 4 seals. They were the soul-suppressing seal, infernal burning seal, heaven-burying seal, and doomsday seal. After successfully breaking through to the venerable realm, Longao could barely use the doomsday seal. When the doomsday seal was used, the 8 venerables felt their vision turn black as if the end of the world had arrived. Before the 8 venerables could react, Longao's figure moved. He punched out with both fists at the fastest speed. Each of them received a punch. The 8 punches hit the 8 venerables accurately. Although the doomsday seal was extremely powerful, it could only last for a limited time when facing 8 venerables at the same time. In other words, Longao could not kill 8 venerables at the same time. That was why Longao chose to focus his attacks on one point. The 8 venerables each punched. Then, when Longao punched the last venerable, he attacked with all his might. Longao once again chose to use a soul attack in order to hit the target. A blood-curdling scream was heard. Then, Longao smashed the supremacy ruthlessly. Because he used too much force, Longao's fists landed one punch after another. With a groan, The 7 venerable ones were all punched by Longao. They did not even have time to react, let alone help the other venerable one. The venerable one endured the damage to his soul and wanted to counterattack, but he was held back by Longao. Longao did not give the venerable any chance to retaliate. His fists continued to smash. The divine dragon arm and hell tiger arm intertwined, moving up and down at the same time. In just a few seconds, the venerable one was punched thousands of times by Longao. His entire chest caved in. Even when he was smashed to the ground, Longao did not choose to give up and continued to smash with his fists. Cruel and violent. At this moment, Longao seemed to have turned into a homicidal maniac. He clearly knew that the other party was already smashed to death by him, but he still waved his fists and landed one punch after another on the venerable one's body and head. The entire boundless blood sea was silent. Only the sound of punches could be heard. Seeing Longao smashing the corpse ruthlessly, everyone was moved. Even the 7 venerables were stunned on the spot. They did not know what happened to Longao. Brother Long's mind has changed. If we don't stop it in time, I'm afraid Brother Long will be occupied by killing and become a complete killing machine. Hearing this, Xia Jun was shocked. He asked impatiently, Brother Dugu, what should we do now? I don't know. Actually, Dugu Bai knew very well that the reason Longao was occupied by killing was because his family was destroyed by the Blood Sea sect. Endless anger and hatred could only turn into killing in the end. Longao, stop. Seeing Longao smashing the elder with his fists, the 7 venerables were completely enraged. Their own comrade was smashed to death in front of their eyes. This kind of humiliation was simply unbearable. Longao suddenly stood up and coldly looked at the 7 venerables in front of him. His voice sounded like it came from hell as he coldly said, all of you will die. The venerable one on the ground had already turned into a pig's head. His entire body had swelled to 3 times its original size. It was impossible to tell that he was a human. He was completely a sow, a venerable one being smashed to such a state. Just thinking about it made them shudder. Being stared at by the other party, for some reason, the 7 venerables could not help but shiver. Longao with just you? Although they were unwilling to admit it, they had to admit that at this moment, Chao Chang's confidence was clearly lacking. If Old Fatty's defeat was an accident, then what about the other 2 venerables? Could it be an accident as well? The 7 venerables knew very well that the black-clothed, white-haired young man in front of them was far stronger than them. Even if they were unwilling to admit it, the 7 of them still deeply sighed. The 7 venerables were already a little dissatisfied with the master's actions. The battle between the Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect had already caused the Blood Sea sect to be in a passive position. But now, the master was going to destroy someone's family for no reason. Not to mention Longao. If it was them, they would have done the same. If it was an ordinary person, they would have done it. But the other party was such a murderous god, a murderous demon who had killed 3 venerables in a row. Was it really worth it for the sect to do this? If today's matter was done in secret, then if the Blood Sea sect wanted to kill Longao, it would simply be a matter of minutes. No matter what, the Blood Sea sect had a total of 3 sovereigns. Any one of them that came out was not something that Longao could contend against. But now, the 5 great sects were watching. If the 3 venerables were to take action, the Blood Sea sect would be thoroughly humiliated. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, the 3 venerables would not take action. Next you. Even if Chao Chong was afraid, after being humiliated by Longao, he was instantly enraged and shouted kill. Then, the 7 venerables rushed up again. This time, the 7 venerables had learned their lesson. They did not split up at all, but attacked together. Doomsday Seal. Longao once again used the Doomsday Seal, but this time, the 7 venerables were already prepared. They closed their eyes and instantly opened them. Only their minds shook for a moment. Then, the 7 venerables continued to attack. Without the slightest bit of surprise, Longao turned around and quickly left. Just as the 7 venerables were chasing after him with all their might, Longao turned around and slashed with his blade. A shocking blade light instantly slashed down. If he had not dodged in time, this slash would have killed another venerables. The 7 venerables were shocked, and they were furious to the extreme. In front of all the people of the 5 major sects, the 10 of them had joined forces, and 3 venerables were killed consecutively. This kind of humiliation had reached the extreme. If they didn't kill Longao, the humiliation would definitely escalate. Chapter 295. It was a great humiliation. Longao had killed 3 sovereigns in a row. It was a great humiliation for the Blood River sect. Because of this, the 7 sovereigns chased after Longao and swore to kill him to save the sect's face. However, Longao seemed to have changed his temperament. This time, he didn't choose to take the initiative to attack. Instead, he blindly dodged. You chase, I run. No matter how angry the 7 sovereigns were, Longao relied on speed and time reversal for 3 seconds. Even if the 7 sovereigns used all their strength, they still wouldn't be able to catch up to Longao. Inside the Dragon Seal space. The reason why Longao didn't choose to fight the 7 sovereigns head-on was because at this time, Long Fu urgently summoned him. He was very curious. Longao simply did not know why Long Fu would choose to summon him at this time. After all, the current him was in the middle of a life and death battle with the Blood Sea sect. If he relaxed even a little, he would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Long Fu, what's the matter? Master, the 3 souls you sent in just now, I've already refined them into soul slaves. And? Longao didn't react for a moment. When he truly understood, his face was filled with disbelief. Long Fu, is this true? And Longao was extremely shocked. Because according to Long Fu's previous refining time, even if he could refine a soul slave quickly, it would still take 3 days. But now, it didn't even take 3 minutes. As if he could see the doubt in Longao's heart, Long Fu said, Master, this time, I've tried my best to refine a soul slave. So in a short period of time, I won't be able to refine a soul slave or corpse slave for you. Longao instantly understood the meaning of Long Fu's actions. Under normal circumstances, Long Fu would need at least 3 days to refine a sovereign soul slave. But now, in order to help him, Long Fu had shortened 3 days to 3 minutes. He would definitely have to pay a price. Long Fu had already mentioned that the price of refining 3 Martial Highness Realm soul slaves was that he would not be able to refine more soul slaves and corpse slaves for a short period of time. Under normal circumstances, Longao would never agree. However, the current situation was different. 3 venerable realm soul slaves were like charcoal in the snow to him. Thank you. Longao didn't stay in the Dragon Seal space for long. Moreover, there were still 7 venerables chasing after him outside. Longao, aren't you very arrogant? Why don't you dare to stop and fight us? Before Chao Chong could finish his words, Longao's body abruptly came to a halt, giving the 7 venerables a fright. Before the 7 venerables could react, 3 souls appeared out of nowhere and attacked the 7 venerables. Old Fatty and the other 2 venerable souls? Looking at the 3 souls that suddenly appeared, the 7 venerables were completely dumbfounded. Everyone was completely stunned. Even Guanfeng was a little shocked. No one knew why the souls of the 3 venerables that had already fallen would suddenly appear and attack the 7 venerables. Without giving the 7 venerables any chance to react, the 3 venerable soul slaves had already fiercely attacked. Not only did the strength of the 3 venerables not weaken, it actually increased by a lot. Moreover, the 3 venerables had undying bodies. No matter how the 7 venerables attacked, the 3 primal chaos couldn't be killed. Because of this, the 7 venerables were even more shocked, especially when they saw the souls of the 3 venerables attacking them. Just what was going on? It was as if they had seen a ghost. No one had ever seen such a scene. The souls of the venerables that had already fallen suddenly resurrected for no reason and even attacked the venerables of the Blood Sea sect. This was simply unheard of. No matter how shocked they were, the 7 venerables and everyone else clearly knew that the 3 venerable souls were resurrected and attacked the venerables of the Blood Sea sect. It was Longao's doing. It was precisely because of this that everyone was guessing one after another how Longao did it. When Ghost King Aotion saw that Longao could resurrect the souls of the dead, he was originally hesitating. But now, he instantly decided to protect Longao no matter what. Aotion only knew one thing, and that was that Longao was not simple. Aotion, you want to be impudent in my Blood Sea sect? Before Aotion could do anything, Guanfeng coldly said from the side. Now that the Ghost King sect and the Blood Sea sect were like fire and water, how could Guanfeng not pay attention to Ghost King Aotion's appearance in the Blood Sea sect? Therefore, before Aotion made a move, Guanfeng was already on full alert. Guanfeng, I must take Longao away. Ha ha ha. Aotion, are you joking with me? Guanfeng suddenly laughed out loud, as if he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. You want to take Longao away from the Blood Sea sect? Where would the Blood Sea sect's face be? Who would take care of the 3 fallen venerables? Today, Longao caused a ruckus in the Blood Sea sect. Not only did he kill the 3 venerables of the Blood Sea sect, he also caused the Blood Sea sect to lose face. If Longao left safely, the Blood Sea sect would not need to continue fighting with the Ghost King sect. They could just withdraw. Ghost King Aotion also thought of this point. After careful consideration, he decided to protect Longao. The 2 old foxes each had their own ulterior motives. Now, their target was Longao. One wanted to kill, the other wanted to protect. The 2 of them stared at each other, as if a battle could break out at any time. Guanfeng, you are not my opponent. Aotion, if the 3 of us work together, killing you is a matter of minutes. Why don't you try? The fact that the Blood Sea sect had 3 venerables was no longer a secret. The Ghost King sect also had 3 venerables. However, the problem now was that the other 2 venerables of the Ghost King sect had not appeared. Because of this, Aotion was very clear that once he attacked, the other 2 venerables would definitely appear. At that time, he would have to fight against 3 venerables. How could he resist the joint attack of 3 venerables? Although he was very confident in his own strength, Aotion would not fight a battle that he was not confident in. Guanfeng, your Blood Sea sect is really shameless. 10 against 1. With such a sect, even if you become the overlord of the Sky region in the future, will the world obey you? No need for this. Longao will definitely die today. No one can change this result. Aotion, the grudge between you and me, we will settle it later. You and me fight. If you win, the Blood Sea sect will withdraw. If I win, the Ghost King sect will withdraw. Idiot. Of course, Aotion would not agree to such a thing. Even if his strength far exceeded Guanfeng's, this was still the territory of the Blood Sea sect. Who knew if Guanfeng would play any tricks? Aotion had never fought a battle that he had no confidence in. This was true in the past, and this was even more true now. Hearing the other party's rejection, Guanfeng's face instantly turned cold. He had secretly decided that after dealing with Longao, no matter what happened, he would work together with the other 2 venerables. The 3 of them would work together to kill Ghost King Aotion. This way, the Ghost King sect would definitely be in chaos. At that time, the Blood Sea sect would be able to destroy the Ghost King sect and become the overlord of the Sky region. Chapter 296. Old Fatty and the other 2 souls suddenly came back to life, giving the 7 venerables a fright. They didn't know how Longao did it. Not daring to be careless, the 7 venerables attacked with all their strength. Although Old Fatty and the other 2 were on their side, they had betrayed them and attacked them fiercely. Either you die or I die. The 7 venerables naturally understood this point, so they didn't hold back at all. They wanted to kill the 3 soul slaves directly. However, as the battle continued to escalate, the 7 venerables' faces became more and more unsightly. The 7 venerables discovered that the 3 soul slaves were simply unkillable souls. No matter how they attacked, the 3 soul slaves would stand up again and continue attacking the 7 venerables in less than 3 seconds after being knocked down. Unkillable? Seeing that the 3 soul slaves were simply unkillable, the 7 venerables were completely scared and panicked. Imagine, no matter how they attacked, they couldn't kill the 3 souls, but the 3 souls could attack them continuously. The souls could survive, but the 7 venerables would die. Under this situation, the 7 venerables would be the ones to lose in the end, not the 3 soul slaves. While the 3 soul slaves and 7 venerables were fighting, Longao didn't stay idle. Things had already reached this point. If he didn't kill the 7 venerables, the other 2 venerables of the Blood River sect wouldn't be drawn out. Longao's purpose in coming here was very simple. That was to take revenge and wipe out the Blood River sect. However, Longao knew that if he didn't kill the 3 venerables and the 10 venerables, he wouldn't be able to destroy the Blood River sect. Now that Guanfeng had appeared, there was only one way to draw out the remaining 2 venerables. That was to first kill the 10 venerables, then kill Guanfeng. He believed that at that time, the remaining 2 venerables of the Blood River sect would definitely appear. Longao and the 3 soul slaves attacked together. The 7 venerables who had the upper hand suddenly fell into a disadvantageous position. They were suppressed everywhere. Longao smashed his fists. He didn't care who the opponent was. He would smash whoever he saw. As long as he could smash them to death, he would complete the mission. At this moment, the 7 Great Exalted could be said to be completely depressed. Furthermore, they were extremely depressed. If it was a normal soul rebirth, then it would be one thing. They would not be afraid at all. At the very most, they could just kill their opponents again. However, the problem now was that Old Fatty's 3 souls had not only been reborn, but their strength had also increased greatly. Moreover, they had an immortal body. As a result, the 7 venerables were entangled by the 3 soul slaves, which gave Longao the perfect opportunity. Longao, if you have the ability, then fight us fairly. Why do you have to resort to underhanded means? Hearing Chao Chang's words, the surrounding people all looked at him with disdain. They had seen shameless people before, but they had never seen someone as shameless as him. The shamelessness of the Blood Sea sect could be considered to be extremely high. With a cold snort, Longao fiercely punched out and said with disdain, "A fair fight?" He laughed in disdain and continued, "If it was a fair fight, the Blood Sea sect would not have sent out 10 venerables to deal with me. 10 against 1. Your Blood Sea sect actually has the face to say that it was a fair fight. I really feel sad for the Blood Sea sect." While speaking, Longao instantly punched out more than 100 times. Each of his punches were extremely vicious. Hearing this, the 7 venerables' faces became even more gloomy. They could not even retort, because what Longao said was very true. The Blood Sea sect did not have a fair fight from the beginning, so they did not have the qualifications to criticize Longao. The Blood Sea sect, using numbers to bully the weak, shameless to the extreme. Such a sect actually has the face to talk about a fair fight. Truly shameless, disgusting to the extreme. Hearing Dugubai's words, Xiajun immediately stood out and said, "Blood Sea sect, you might as well change your name to Shameless sect. I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen someone as shameless as you. Blood Sea sect, you're so shameless. Do those dead ancestors of the Blood Sea sect know about it?" One had to admit that Dugubai and Xiajun's words were extremely vicious. Dugubai and Xiajun's intention was very simple. They wanted to disturb the 7 venerables' minds and give Longao an opportunity to kill the 7 venerables. If it was a normal situation, Dugubai and Xiajun would not be able to disturb the 7 venerables' minds. But the situation right now was different. The 7 venerables were tightly entangled by the 3 soul slaves. No matter how they attacked, they could not kill the 3 soul slaves. Not to mention the 7 venerables. No matter who it was, they would not be able to tolerate such a situation. Because of this, the 7 venerables' minds were in complete chaos. Dugubai, Xiajun, shut up. The Ghost King sect and the Sound of Thunder sect were in an alliance, so Dugubai and Xiajun did not care about Guanfeng. Dugubai coldly said, "Master Guan, the Blood Sea sect is the leader of the alliance, yet they are so shameless. I really feel sorry for you." Guanfeng's face was extremely gloomy. If it was not for Xiafeng and the Ghost King Aotian, he might have already attacked. Under normal circumstances, would Dugubai and Xiajun dare to act like this? "This debt, I will slowly settle it with you later. Anytime. But I still have to say one thing. The shamelessness of the Blood Sea sect is obvious to all of us. Such a sect does not have the qualifications to fight for Tianzhou. If I were you, I would leave as soon as possible. Staying here will only be a disgrace." Suppressing the anger in his heart, Guanfeng finally suppressed his impulsiveness. Ao Tian and Xiafeng did not say anything from the beginning to the end. It could be said that they silently agreed with what Dugu Bai and Xiajun said. The more they agreed, the angrier Guanfeng became. The Conflagration sect and the Blood Sea sect were in an alliance. They would follow the Blood Sea sect's lead. The master of the Conflagration sect, Hua Shi, suddenly said coldly, "Himph. Whether the Blood Sea sect has the qualifications to fight for Tianzhou is not up to you. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. We will see who wins and who loses. But Longao must die today." Hua Tong was killed. Although there was no definite news, Hua Shi was certain that his son was killed by Longao. The hatred of his son's death was absolutely irreconcilable. Hua Shi had already decided that even if the Blood Sea sect decided to let Longao go today, he would not let him go. No matter what happened, Longao must die. Dugu Bai sneered. Disdain was written all over his face. He said mockingly, "The Conflagration sect and the Blood Sea sect are jackals of the same lair. I have already seen your shamelessness. There is no need to say any more nonsense. What happened today will soon spread throughout Tianzhou. This is the 9 provinces." At this time, the battle on the martial arts training field had already reached a white-hot point. Longao, with the help of the 3 great soul slaves, pressed forward step by step and ruthlessly attacked the 7 great venerables. He simply did not give the 7 great venerables any chance to breathe. The 3 soul slaves were also quite ferocious. Coupled with their immortal bodies, they could stand up again after being knocked down and go back and forth. The 7 venerables were not willing to face the 3 soul slaves, but they were still firmly entangled and could not shake them off even if they wanted to. Chapter 297. The 7 venerables were tightly entangled by the 3 soul slaves. Longao took advantage of this opportunity to ruthlessly and viciously attack. The battle had already entered its most intense state. Neither side dared to be the slightest bit careless. This was because everyone knew that if they were the slightest bit careless, they would fall into an irrecoverable state. The final strike. The 3 soul slaves had already forced the 7 venerables back. Longao knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He could not miss it. It was because of this that Longao chose to use his full strength. This was the so-called final strike. The Annihilation Seal, the first 4 seals, the Soul-Suppressing Seal, the Underworld Burning Seal, the Heaven Burying Seal, and the Doomsday Seal appeared at the same time. Not only that, but Longao also used a soul attack. This time, Longao didn't choose to divide his soul into 7. This was because he knew that once his soul was divided into 7, it wouldn't be able to cause any harm to the 7 venerables. Thus, Longao chose to attack them one by one. He used his soul attack to attack Chao Chong. Longao had already said that Chao Chong would be next. A martial artist couldn't go back on their word, much less now. Chao Chong was using all of his strength to resist the 3 soul slaves. Moreover, he had to pay attention to Longao's attacks. Caught off guard, his soul was successfully corroded. With a pitiful cry, Chao Chong's body began to sway, as if he could collapse at any moment. This time, Longao didn't choose to use his fist. Instead, he prepared to use blood-sucking wild saber. The remaining 6 venerables knew that Chao Chong's life was at stake, but they were powerless to do anything. At this time, the 6 venerables were completely entangled by the 3 soul slaves. They couldn't break free, much less save Chao Chong. It was laughable to say that 3 venerable soul slaves weren't a match for the 6 venerables. But these 3 soul slaves had undying bodies. In any case, they weren't afraid of being beaten. They would just stick around and anger them to death. Blood-sucking wild saber. Longao focused all of his strength on blood-sucking wild saber. The 8 styles of blood-sucking instantly overlapped. Not just that, but in order to end this battle as quickly as possible, Longao used the 8 styles of blood-sucking wild saber light. He fused the world's aura into his saber light and even used the God-punishing mirror to change the flow of time. Time reversed by 3 seconds. Chao Chong, who was attacked by the soul, went crazy. He didn't dare to hesitate at all. He used all his strength to resist the power that was corroding his soul. But at this moment, Longao moved. With the force of his right foot, his whole body left the ground. Holding the blood-sucking broadsword in both hands, he stared coldly at the opposite side and slashed out. The seemingly weak slash actually contained boundless power. It was the most powerful slash Longao could make at the moment. His strongest attack was a shocking saber light. Everyone was stunned when they saw Longao's saber light. This saber attack had already reached the peak of the honorable realm. It was even close to the strength of a supreme being. If a supreme being wasn't careful, they would probably be killed by this attack. Longao, don't you dare. Seeing that Longao was about to kill Chao Chong, Guanfeng panicked. Chao Chong was the leader of the 10 venerables of the Blood Sea sect. The Blood Sea sect had already lost 3 venerables. If Chao Chong died, the Blood Sea sect would suffer a great loss. The terrifying aura of a supreme being was released, fiercely suppressing the martial arts field. Just as Guanfeng was about to rush forward, Ao Tian suddenly made his move and blocked Guanfeng. Ao Tian, what's the meaning of this? Seeing Ao Tian blocking him, Guanfeng's face was extremely gloomy. However, Guanfeng was afraid of Ao Tian's strength. Before this, Ao Tian had been pretending. His strength had already broken through the peak of the Supreme Being realm. He was only a step away from reaching the earthly Supreme Being realm. The 8 void realms. The gap between each realm was huge. Guanfeng, do you still have any shame? The 10 venerables of the Blood Sea sect against Longao alone is already shameless enough. Now, you still want to make a move? I didn't want to look down on you, but your actions are simply disgusting. Ao Tian's words immediately caused a commotion. Most of them were looking down on and ridiculing the Blood Sea sect. Guanfeng clenched his fists tightly. He was originally full of confidence, but he never thought that things would develop to this point. In just a few minutes, Longao had already killed 3 venerables. Now, he was going to kill Chao Chong. Guanfeng wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew that the Blood Sea sect couldn't afford to lose venerables. Every time they lost a venerable, the Blood Sea sect's chances of dominating the Tianzhou region would be reduced. They couldn't afford to lose any more venerables. Ao Tian, get lost or I'll have to kill you. Ha ha ha, with just you? Ao Tian was full of confidence. Peak Supreme Being was invincible. Unless he encountered an earthly Supreme Being, who else could defeat him? With just Guanfeng? Ao Tian, don't forget that this is still the Blood Sea sect. If the 3 of us join forces, do you think you can leave the Blood Sea sect? The Blood Sea sect had 3 Supreme Beings. If the 3 Supreme Beings joined forces, Ao Tian knew that he wouldn't be their opponent. However, Ao Tian wasn't afraid at all. He sneered, Guanfeng, don't use 2 Supreme Beings to pressure me. The 3 of you can't kill me in a short time. If the 2 Supreme Beings from the Ghost King sect come, who knows who will win? Hearing this, Guanfeng hesitated. It must be known that among the 6 major sects, the Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect were the strongest. However, the other 4 major sects were not weak either. They all had martial saints in charge. Once the Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect suffered losses, wouldn't the other 4 major sects benefit for nothing? Ao Tian, you will pay the price for today. Any time. Seeing the Ghost King suddenly intercepting Guanfeng, Du Gubai and Xia Jun were delighted. It was the right decision to spread the news. Longao's talent and strength had moved Ao Tian. They believed that Longao's life was more than enough to save his own life. Du Gubai and Xia Jun let out a long sigh of relief. In the end, Guanfeng was still afraid and could only retreat. However, his face was full of ruthlessness. No one cared about the matter between Guanfeng and Ao Tian, because everyone was looking at Longao and Chao Chong. After all, Longao's blade was enough to shock the heaven and earth and make ghosts and gods weep. The shocking blade light was like a blade of tribulation lightning, fiercely chopping towards Chao Chong. Chao Chong was shocked when he felt the blade light. Just as he was about to dodge, he was shocked to find that his body was locked by the blade light. He couldn't move even if he wanted to. I can't accept this. Chao Chong's voice rolled out, but the shocking saber light had already slashed down, directly splitting Chao Chong in half. Perhaps the saber light was too powerful. Not only his body, but even his soul was devoured by the saber light. Both his body and soul were destroyed. This saber light shocked everyone. It was unparalleled. P.S. I accidentally fell asleep. Depressed. 6th update has arrived. Eat a bite and continue writing. The remaining 4 chapters will come one after another. Everyone, please support Little 9. Chapter 298. A shocking slash had killed Chao Chong's honorable. Chao Chong was the strongest of the 10 honorables of the Blood Sea sect. But even so, he was still killed by Longao with a single slash. This showed how strong Longao was. In a battle of life and death, in just a few minutes, Longao had killed 4 honorables. This was a huge loss for the Blood Sea sect. Guanfeng's face was so gloomy that he was afraid. Because of his anger, his body began to tremble. The Blood Sea sect could no longer bear the loss of 4 honorables. Did he really have to choose to admit defeat? Guanfeng knew very well that once he admitted defeat, not only would it be a matter of losing face, everyone in the Tianzhou would look down on the Blood Sea sect. If he wanted to continue fighting for supremacy in the Tianzhou, it would be an extremely difficult matter. Although the winner was the king and the loser was the bandit, the Blood Sea sect had already lost 4 honorables. They had more or less fallen behind the Ghost King sect. After successfully killing Chao Chong, Longao did not stop there. His entire body directly headed towards the 6 venerables. Out of the 10 venerables, he had already killed 4 venerables. The remaining 6 venerables had to be eliminated. If it was before, the 6 great venerables would not even put Longao in their eyes. But now, when the 6 great venerables saw Longao rushing over, they all retreated in fear. Longao had already killed 4 honorables, including Chao Chong. Could the 6 of them be a match for him? This situation was very laughable. 6 honorables working together were actually afraid of Longao? Looking at the strange scene in the martial arts field, everyone sighed. Everyone knew that Longao had already won this battle. Thinking about it, they felt that it was unreal. Longao actually fought against 10 honorables alone, killed 4 honorables, and chased after 6 honorables. The 6 honorables were tightly entangled by the 3 soul slaves. They could not escape at all. At this moment, the 6 honorables' state of mind had changed. They were not willing to fight Longao at all. They were even afraid. Frightened, the 6 venerables were flustered and flustered. Longao, we admit defeat. Seeing the 6 venerables being forced to retreat step by step, even if Guanfeng had to admit it 10,000 times in his heart, Guanfeng still knew very clearly that the Blood Sea sect had lost. Guanfeng sighed deeply in his heart. He knew that the Blood Sea sect had suffered a double loss in this battle. Up until now, Guanfeng still couldn't figure out why 4 of the 10 venerables were killed and 6 of them were pursued by a mere Longao. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Not to mention Guanfeng, even the rest of the crowd did not expect Longao to win the battle. 1 against 10, Longao killed 4 venerables. This achievement was enough to show disdain for his peers. Brother Dugu, Brother Long actually won. This is truly unbelievable. Xia Jun sighed. Before this, Xia Jun had always thought that Longao would be defeated and even lose his life. But now, not only did Longao not lose, but he also killed 4 venerables and pursued 6 venerables. Just thinking about it made him feel terrified. Nodding his head, Dugu Bai also had an astonished expression on his face as he said, Brother Long always surprises me. I am already used to it. However, this time, I never expected that Brother Long would be able to kill 4 venerables and successfully win. From now on, Brother Long can definitely become the number 1 venerables, the number 1 under the Supremes. Number 1 venerables, number 1 under the Supremes. Xia Jun nodded his head in agreement with Dugu Bai's evaluation. Longao was able to defeat 10 venerables and kill 4 venerables by himself. This was already enough to show disdain for all venerables. Hearing Guanfeng admit defeat, Ao Tian was overjoyed. In Ao Tian's opinion, including everyone else, Longao had already taken his revenge by establishing the Blood Sea sect and killing 4 venerables. After all, 4 venerables couldn't be compared to a mere Long family. 4 venerables wasn't something a mere Long family could contend against. Things had already reached this stage. Longao's revenge had been taken. If it wasn't for the Ghost King sect and the Ghost King's sudden intervention, the Blood Sea sect wouldn't have let Longao go. What kind of joke was this? 4 venerables were killed. If the Blood Sea sect could endure this, they wouldn't be the Blood Sea sect. However, with the Ghost King sect's intervention, Guanfeng knew that it was almost impossible to kill Longao. But it didn't matter. Once Longao left the Blood Sea sect, he would have countless chances to kill Longao. Admit defeat. Saying these 2 words with difficulty. The Blood Sea sect's face had hit rock bottom in this battle. After this, the whole world would know where the Blood Sea sect would stand. Where would the Blood Sea sect's face go? The Blood Sea sect lost? 10 venerables of the Blood Sea sect actually lost against Longao alone? Xiaofeng foolishly looked at the black-clothed, white-haired youth on the training field. The fury in his heart erupted like a volcano. But because of the other sects, he suppressed his impulse. However, Xiaofeng was unwilling to accept this. This was the murderer of his son. No matter what happened, Longao had to die. Longao, just you wait. I'll let you know the feeling of living a life worse than death. Humph, Xiaofeng sneered coldly in his heart. He was preparing to turn around and leave. But at this time, Guanfeng suddenly roared in rage. Longao, I have already chosen to admit defeat. What else do you want? Not only Guanfeng, even the others were shocked. Because at this moment, Longao didn't care about Guanfeng at all. He once again shot towards the 6 venerables. His body was surging with killing intent. The wild devouring blade in his hand also slashed out. The 6 venerables tried to dodge, but they were tightly entangled by the 3 soul slaves. At this moment, the 6 venerables were completely flustered. They didn't dare to face Longao head-on. They only had one goal, and that was to leave this place. Seeing Longao's arrogance, everyone was dumbfounded, including Dugubai, Xiajun, Xiaofeng, and Aotian. Could it be that Longao had lost his mind due to hatred? But it had to be known that Guanfeng had already admitted defeat, which meant that the Blood Sea sect had admitted defeat. Longao had already killed 4 venerables of the Blood Sea sect. But if he wanted to leave safely, why would he continue to chase after the 6 venerables? Could it be that he was so arrogant that he could fight against the entire Blood Sea sect by himself? No matter what, other than the 10 venerables in the Blood Sea sect, there were still 3 even more powerful venerables. Even if Longao could win against 10 venerables and successfully kill 4 venerables, could it be that he could defeat 3 venerables? Longao, you're courting death. Guanfeng was still blocked by Aotian. He said coldly, this battle isn't over yet. Guanfeng, don't even think about destroying it. Ha ha ha, Guanfeng, you destroyed my Long family. Today, I'll definitely destroy your Blood Sea sect. I'll definitely kill these 6 venerables. Chapter 299. He had to be killed. Since things had already reached this stage, Longao naturally wouldn't give up. Guanfeng was tightly entangled by Aotian. Even if he wanted to help, he couldn't. At this moment, Longao rushed forward with his bloodsucker saber. Aotian, you're courting death. Humph, I think you're the one courting death. Aotian and Guanfeng suddenly started fighting, causing everyone to be confused. They didn't know why the grudge between Longao and Blood River sect would spread to Blood River sect and Ghost King sect. However, the other 4 sects didn't interfere. They stood far away and watched. Although they were allies, the other 4 sects couldn't wait for Ghost King sect and Blood River sect to both be injured and reap the benefits. Guanfeng and Aotian were both genuine supremes. The battle between the two could be said to be even more intense. The slightest carelessness could lead to death. Big Brother Dugu, it seems like Ghost King Aotian wants to protect Brother Long. Seeing Aotian suddenly make a move, Xiajun was delighted. No matter what, Ghost King's sect's strength was there. Among the 5 sects, only Ghost King's sect could contend against Blood River sect. Nodding, Dugu Bai let out a sigh of relief and said, this is what I want. As long as Ghost King makes a move, Brother Long's life will be saved. But this time, Brother Long was too reckless and didn't stop. This matter is too troublesome. Until now, Dugub still couldn't understand why Longao was so determined to continue killing. Even if Longao wanted to take revenge, he had already killed 4 of Blood River sect sovereigns. His revenge could be considered avenged. He should take this opportunity to leave. But what about Longao? Not only did he not do that, he continued to chase after the remaining 6 sovereigns. Not to mention Guanfeng and Blood River sect, any other sect wouldn't let Longao go. Longao held his bloodsucker saber and chased after the 6 sovereigns. Helpless, the 6 sovereigns could only stop fighting Longao. Although their state of mind had changed, the combined strength of the 6 sovereigns was still no small matter. Just like that, the 2 sides started fighting again. The battle could be said to be full of twists and turns. No one had expected Longao to continue chasing after the remaining 6 martial highnesses. Even more unexpected was that Ghost King Aotion would suddenly attack and engage in a battle with Guanfeng. Longao knew very well that it would not be easy to kill the 6 venerables in a short period of time. However, Longao was even more aware that this battle had to be ended quickly and couldn't be delayed. Otherwise, once the other 2 supreme beings were alerted at this time, they would be in big trouble. Longao went all out, fighting 1 against 6. This battle was world-shaking. The God-sealing bead and God-punishing mirror activated at the same time. A strange strength spread out in all directions, directly covering the 6 venerables. Under normal circumstances, the 6 venerables would only need a second to break the seal if they joined forces. But now, the situation was completely different. After successfully locking onto the 6 venerables and changing the flow of time by 3 seconds, Longao grasped this rare opportunity and ferociously hacked down with the blood-sucking saber. Crack! Without a doubt, Longao borrowed the power of the God-sealing bead and God-punishing mirror. The shocking saber light slashed down and directly killed one of the venerables. Even the venerable's soul was devoured by the saber light. The same shocking saber slash, the same saber slash. Another venerables had died. Looking at the venerables that were killed, everyone was completely stunned. It seemed that Longao was determined to kill the remaining 5 venerables. Everyone was looking forward to it. After all, Longao had killed 10 venerables. The strength of the Blood Sea sect had greatly decreased. But the Blood Sea sect only had 3 supreme beings and 10 venerables. Now that the Blood Sea sect had lost 10 venerables, only 3 supreme beings were left. How could the Blood Sea sect compete for Tianzhou? Everyone, including Guanfeng, knew this very well. Especially Guanfeng. Seeing Longao kill another venerables, he was completely flustered. Guanfeng knew that if he continued to be entangled with the Ghost King Longao, there would only be one result. The remaining 5 venerables would all be killed by Longao. If that really happened, then all his efforts over the years would have been wasted. How could Guanfeng not know why Aotion was entangled with him? The Ghost King sect and the Blood Sea sect were fighting for the position of Tianzhou's overlord. The Ghost King sect and the Blood Sea sect's strength were very similar. They both had 10 venerables. Now that the Blood Sea sect's 10 venerables were all killed, who would benefit the most? Without a doubt, the Ghost King sect would benefit the most from the Blood Sea sect's 10 venerables being killed. Thinking about this, Guanfeng hated the Ghost King sect and Longao to the core. His attacks became even more vicious. But the difference in strength between Guanfeng and Aotion was too big. It was almost impossible for Guanfeng to kill Aotion. Kacha, Longao's fists fiercely smashed the venerables. Punch after punch, in just a few seconds, the venerables were smashed into pieces and died. Another venerables died. A total of 10 venerables had been killed. Guanfeng was about to go crazy. He never thought that things would end like this. 6 venerables. To the Blood Sea sect, this was a huge blow. The Blood Sea sect had prepared for so many years and finally had the strength to compete for Tianzhou. But because of one person, a small venerables, all their efforts were in vain. They even had to withdraw from the competition for Tianzhou. How could Guanfeng accept this? After successfully killing the venerables, Longao didn't stop there. He continued to attack fiercely. Blade after blade, fist after fist, he didn't give the four venerables any chance to breathe. Longao's eyes were bloodshot. The killing intent in his heart was constantly corroding his heart and soul. The hatred of his family turned into a powerful killing intent, causing Longao's strength to increase again. Kacha. The shocking blade aura once again beheaded another venerable. Out of the 10 venerables, only 3 venerables remained. Seeing this situation, everyone was completely moved. It seemed like Longao had already chosen to fight to the death with the Blood Sea sect. Under the suppression of Longao's powerful aura, 2 of the remaining 3 venerables were killed. In other words, in just a few minutes, out of the original 10 venerables, only 1 venerables was left. Moreover, he was heavily injured and was fiercely kicked to the ground by Longao. Stepping on the venerables, Longao said coldly, "Guanfeng, stop." Guanfeng and Aotian, who were fighting fiercely, forced each other away. Guanfeng stared at the young man above and said coldly, "Longao, a debt of blood must be paid with blood. Today, I will cut you into pieces." Out of the 10 venerables, 9 were dead and 1 was heavily injured. The Blood Sea sect had suffered a great loss. As the master of the Blood Sea sect, how could Guanfeng not be angry? Ignoring Guanfeng's anger and ruthless words, Longao fiercely stepped on the venerables' heads. Kacha. The venerables' heads exploded. Just as Guanfeng rushed up, Longao's voice rolled out. "Guanfeng, I challenge you now. Do you dare to accept?" Chapter 300. Longao is challenging Guanfeng? Looking at Longao on the martial arts field, everyone was confused, wondering what was going on with Longao. Could it be that Longao was blinded by his desire to kill? "Brother Duga, what's wrong with Brother Long?" "I don't know." Dugu Bai's expression was also extremely solemn. It wasn't easy for Ghost King Aotian to lend a hand. As long as Longao chose to withdraw at this time, he believed that it would be more than enough to save his life. One had to admit that Longao was indeed very strong. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was number 1 under the Supremes. But was Longao a match for a Supremes? Without a doubt, Longao was definitely not a match for a Supremes. Because everyone knew that the gap between the two was huge. They weren't on the same level. Because of this, Longao challenging Guanfeng, in everyone's opinion, Longao was simply courting death. Hearing that Longao wanted to challenge Guanfeng, Xiafang's heart was filled with joy. This time, Ghost King Aotian suddenly intervened, giving Longao a great chance to leave the Blood River sect. But now, Longao's arrogance meant that he was destined to be killed. Longao was a Supremes. Guanfeng was a Supremes. A Supremes challenging a Supremes was like a child challenging a big man. There was no challenge at all. Everyone was dumbfounded, because no one expected that Longao would suddenly challenge Guanfeng, a Supremes. "You want to challenge me?" Not to mention others. Just Guanfeng himself seemed to have heard the funniest thing in the world. "Guanfeng, don't tell me you don't dare." "Ha ha ha, why wouldn't I dare? I want to see how you're going to challenge me today." Moving with the wind, Guanfeng's figure stood firmly on the Blood River martial arts field. His face was filled with disdain and ridicule. A puny Supremes wanted to challenge him? "Longao, don't be reckless." Ghost King Aotian's face was gloomy to the point of fear. He had already made his move, preparing to take Longao away. But what about Longao? Challenging Guanfeng, could it be that Longao was really confident? It was impossible, and it wasn't just proud heaven who didn't believe it. In fact, no one would believe it. "Aotian, this is the Blood River sect. You're not welcome here. Please leave." "Humph, this battle is unavoidable." Without waiting for Dugubai and Xiajun to say anything, Longao had already waved his hand. Although he did not say anything, the expression on his face already told everyone that he and the Blood Sea sect would not rest until one of them died. Dugubai and Xiajun knew Longao's character very well. Once he made up his mind, even 10 bulls wouldn't be able to pull him back, let alone change his mind. "Ha ha ha, what an arrogant kid. Longao, the 2 of us would like to see how you're going to defeat the master." At this moment, two terrifying auras approached from afar. Both of them were old men with white hair. Their bodies were thin and weak, as if they could be blown away by the wind. Two Supremes? The two old men were none other than the two Supremes of the Blood River sect, Supremes Guan Tong and Ma Ying. Both of them were high-level Supremes. Together with Guan Feng, they were known as the Supremes of the Blood River sect. Uncle Ma. Seeing the two Supremes, Guan Feng bowed respectfully. Although he was the master of the Blood River sect, the two of them were the pillars of the Blood River sect. Moreover, Guan Tong was Guan Feng's uncle, his blood uncle. Looking at the two Supremes who suddenly appeared, Longao wasn't worried at all. He still stood there arrogantly, staring at Guan Feng. Longao, you killed 10 Supremes of my Blood River sect. This hatred is absolutely irreconcilable. However, I'll give you a chance. Fight with Guan Feng. As long as you win, you can leave. Although it sounded like he was giving Longao a chance, everyone knew that Longao had no chance of defeating Guan Feng. After all, the gap between Supremes and Supremes was too big. I just made an agreement with Guan Feng. If I defeat the 10 Supremes, the entire Blood River sect will commit suicide. I wonder if the Blood River sect will fulfill the agreement? Longao's words caused the entire Blood River sect to become silent. Everyone had heard the agreement between Longao and Guan Feng. If Longao won the battle against the 10 Zun cultivators, the entire Blood Sea sect would commit suicide. But would the Blood Sea sect do that? Guan Feng and the two Supremes' expressions were extremely ugly. Committing suicide? What kind of joke was this? Guan Feng didn't say anything because the agreement between him and Longao was true. However, no matter what, the Blood River sect wouldn't commit suicide. Moreover, Longao would definitely die. Seeing that Guan Feng did not speak, the surrounding people began to discuss spiritedly. Most of them were mocking and disdainful. Everyone was very clear that Guan Feng would definitely not fulfill the agreement and commit mass suicide. No one would do such a thing unless they were idiots. Longao, the agreement between you and Guan Feng is impossible to fulfill. However, I'll give you a chance this time. As long as you can defeat Guan Feng, you can leave. Moreover, today's matter will be written off. Guan Tong's words didn't attract any ridicule or disdain. No matter what, Guan Tong was much stronger than Guan Feng. At least he dared to face it head-on. I don't want to fulfill the agreement. I'll speak the truth, unlike Guan Feng who only knows how to remain silent. All right, you're straightforward. I'll fight with Guan Feng. If I lose, I'll commit suicide. However, if I win, the entire Blood River sect will commit suicide. Does the Blood River sect dare to accept my challenge? Here it comes again. Hearing Longao's challenge, Guan Feng and the other two Supremes' expressions changed. The more confident Longao was, the less confident they were, even though they firmly believed that a Supremes couldn't defeat a Supremes. Longao, you're really arrogant. Ha ha ha, for a sect that doesn't keep its promises, no matter how many agreements there are, it's useless. I don't want to look down on the Blood River sect anymore. Guan Feng, let's fight to the death. I only have one request. No one is allowed to interfere in our battle. Otherwise, the Blood River sect will suffer the wrath of the heavens. The Blood River sect dared to violate the agreement with Longao, but they didn't dare to violate the agreement between the heavens and the earth. Guan Feng knew that if he continued to remain silent, the Blood River sect would really be finished. Without waiting for the two Supremes to say anything, Guan Feng took a step forward and coldly said, "Fine, you and I will have a battle of life and death. We won't rest until one of us is dead. No matter who wins or loses, no one will disturb us." Longao, I really want to know what gave you such great courage to actually dare to challenge me. Chapter 301. Guan Feng, you will die today. Longao's words made Guan Feng laugh out loud. Longao's successful counterattack shocked everyone in the surroundings. With the strength of a single person, he had killed 10 venerables of the Blood Sea sect. Who could compare to Longao? Everyone was sure that once Longao grows up, he will become a powerhouse of the continent. But now? Long Ao challenging Guanfeng was a suicidal move. After all, the gap between honorables and supreme was there. Because of this, no one thought highly of Long Ao, even though many hoped to see Long Ao's counterattack. Long Ao and Guanfeng didn't continue to speak. Both of them stared at each other. At the same time, a powerful aura erupted from their bodies and collided with each other. Beside the blood pool, Ghost King, long time no see. Congratulations on becoming a supreme warrior. Thank you. I didn't think that Long Ao's matter would disturb the two of you. Waving his hand, Guantong's face did not show any displeasure. He smiled and said, Ghost King, the Blood Sea sect will withdraw from the alliance. The position of Tianzhou's overlord will belong to the Ghost King sect. You did well. With a Ghost King like you, the Ghost King sect will not fall in the next 100 years. One had to admit that Guantong had a high opinion of the Ghost King Ao Tian. Ao Tian was very surprised. He didn't think that the Blood Sea House would suddenly withdraw from the competition. Based on the strength of the 6 houses, it was actually the Blood Sea House and the Ghost King House who were fighting for the position of the ruler of the Tianzhou. Thank you. Ao Tian was not stupid. He knew what the Blood Sea sect's withdrawal meant. In other words, from now on, the Ghost King sect will be undefeatable and can easily dominate Tianzhou. Tianzhou is divided into 6 sections. They are the Ghost King sect, Golden Sun sect, Sound of Thunder sect, Blood Sea sect, Wind Thunder sect, and Flame sect. The Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect were the most powerful. Within each sect, there were 3 supreme warriors. Now that the Blood Sea sect had withdrawn, the remaining 4 sects would not dare to compete with the Ghost King sect for the position of Tianzhou. When one's cultivation broke through to the Supreme Being realm, the spiritual source in one's body would form a golden core, and all of one's strength would be concentrated within the golden core. The biggest difference between a venerable and a supreme being was the golden core. Once a supreme being used his golden core, he could almost instantly kill a venerable. This was the biggest difference between a venerable and a supreme being. Long Ao didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless. At this time, Guanfeng seemed to be a little impatient. With a big stride, he had already rushed over. In order to end the battle as quickly as possible, Guanfeng directly used his sovereign golden core. Not daring to be careless, the 2 supreme beings quickly rushed out and arrived at the mountain in the blink of an eye. There was no need to check at all. The 2 supreme beings' faces instantly turned gloomy and were filled with disbelief. A supreme being killed in one move? You killed Guanfeng? Long Ao killed a supreme being in one move. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Shock was written all over their faces. Even if everyone didn't believe it, how could they not believe it when 2 supreme beings said it? Everyone foolishly looked at the black-clothed, white-haired youth. At this moment, Long Ao was like a god of death standing on the blood pool training field. Long Ao and Xia Jun fiercely swallowed their saliva. Until now, they finally knew why Long Ao was so confident. It turned out that he had nothing to fear. He killed a supreme being in one move. Just this point alone, who could be a match for Long Ao's strength? Not to mention dominating a supreme being. Even sweeping away a supreme being wouldn't be a problem. Huashir's face turned extremely ugly. He felt despair in his heart. No matter what, Golden Sun sect couldn't afford to provoke a person who could kill a supreme being in one move. He would be a sinner if he led the whole sect to eternal damnation for his own hatred. Among them, the one who was most shocked was Ghost King Ao Tian, because he clearly knew what it meant to kill Guanfeng in one move. Even he couldn't do this. Didn't this mean that even he wasn't a match for Long Ao? What number 1 supreme being? What bullshit number 1 under supreme being? According to Long Ao's strength, he could look down on supreme beings. P.S. Today's 10 chapters are over. Xiao Ju is going to rest. Good night, everyone. With the house's capabilities, they could have been the conqueror of Tianzhou. But now, the house had lost 10 seniors and 1 supreme. With the house's current capabilities, they had lost the right to be the conqueror of Tianzhou. Even though their hearts were filled with anger, the 2 supreme beings were still prepared to kill Long Ao. Because if Longao left here alive, the Blood River sect losing their conqueror status was a small matter, but losing face was a big matter. Longao, I want to know, how did you do it? The two supreme beings were very curious. How did Longao do it? After all, they had just sensed that Guanfeng's soul was destroyed. Could it be that Longao's soul was already this strong? How I did it has nothing to do with you. He couldn't be bothered to waste words with the two. After all, he still had 2 drops of the fire Cheelant's blood essence. As long as he used them properly, he had a chance to kill the 2 supreme beings. Longao's principle was very simple. If people didn't offend him, he wouldn't offend them. If people offended him, he would pay them back double. The Blood River sect had destroyed his own family, so he would destroy the entire Blood River sect. If he wanted to destroy the Blood Sea sect, there were 2 biggest obstacles: 10 Venerables and 3 Supremes. Longao had already killed 10 Venerables and 1 Supremes. As long as he killed the remaining 2 Supremes, the Blood Sea sect would definitely be destroyed today. At the beginning, everyone thought that Longao would definitely lose this battle. Whether or not he would be able to keep his life was a problem. But now, Longao had successfully counterattacked and killed the 10 seniors and Guanfeng, shocking everyone. To be able to kill a supreme in one move, one could imagine how terrifying Longao's strength was. It was precisely because of this that everyone had a feeling that once Longao fought against the remaining 2 supreme beings of the Blood Sea sect, he would definitely be able to continue and instantly kill the 2 supreme beings. This was a bit impossible, but Longao had already successfully counterattacked. Since he had already counterattacked once, why couldn't he do it a second time? Big brother Dugu, was what I saw just now real? Nodding, Dugu Bai also sighed and said, "It's really hard to believe that Brother Long could kill Guanfeng in one move. Just with this strength, Brother Long has a place in the Tianzhou." Xia Jun naturally knew what it meant to be able to kill a supreme in one move, surpassing his peers and looking down on the 9 provinces. It was because they saw Longao's strength that the 2 supreme beings didn't dare to act recklessly. If Longao really could kill them in one move, they wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. "I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept?" Longao challenging 2 supreme beings? Everyone was already used to it. No matter what, Longao had just challenged Guanfeng. Everyone thought that Longao would be killed by Guanfeng, but the result was the opposite. Longao killed Guanfeng in one move. Because of this, many people were used to Longao challenging the 2 supreme beings. In everyone's opinion, if Longao could kill Guanfeng, then he could kill the 2 supreme beings in one move. Guantong and Ma Ying's expressions were extremely ugly. If it was an ordinary supreme who challenged them, they wouldn't even put them in their eyes. But Longao, the 2 of them really didn't dare to accept the challenge. Just thinking about how Longao killed Guanfeng in one move, they were truly afraid. Silence. The 2 supreme beings both chose to remain silent. No one was an idiot. Of course, they knew that the 2 supremes chose to remain silent because they were afraid. However, no one despised or ridiculed them. No matter what, if they were in their place, would they dare to accept the challenge? The boundless blood sea was silent. No one spoke. The voice of Longao challenging the 2 supreme beings still drifted in everyone's ears for a long time. Both sides were in a deadlock. "Longao, you're too presumptuous." At this time, an unparalleled and powerful aura suddenly soared up from somewhere in the Blood Sea Peak. It directly enveloped the entire Blood Sea Peak. Everyone who sensed this aura turned pale with fright. Each and every one of them looked at a certain place in shock. At this moment, a figure shot over rapidly. Not long after, an old man suddenly appeared in the sky above the boundless blood sea. He floated quietly in the void just like that. This was the so-called Emptiness Earth Sovereign. Chapter 303. Earthly Venerable Nothingness. Of course, all the warriors present knew what earthly venerable nothingness meant. Earthly venerable nothingness was a super-existence that was above honorable martial artists. It represented the ability to fly for a short period of time. In other words, as long as a warrior could fly, it meant that he was at least earthly venerable nothingness. The biggest difference between earthly venerable nothingness and earthly venerable nothingness was the ability to fly. It was like one was in the sky and the other was on the ground. There was no doubt that the one on the ground could defeat the one in the sky. Greetings, old ancestor. Seeing the sudden appearance of their ancestor, both Guantong and Ma Ying's faces lit up with joy and they bowed respectfully. Old ancestor Guanhang? Others might not know this person, but Ao Tian, Huasher, and the others knew him. Guanhang was hailed as the most outstanding person in the Blood Sea sect for 100 years. However, he had mysteriously disappeared 10 years ago. There were rumors that Guanhang had fallen. However, it seemed that Guanhang had not fallen 10 years ago. He had chosen to cultivate in seclusion to become an earthly venerable. Earthly venerables were divided into 3 levels. They were Level 1 Earthly Venerable, Level 2 Earthly Venerable, and Level 3 Earthly Venerable. As for what level of Earthly Venerable Guanhang was, it was unknown. Brother Dugu this, Dugubai waved his hand. His face was extremely gloomy. He had never thought that there would be an earthly venerable nothingness in the Blood Sea sect. Both Dugubai and Xiajun knew clearly what earthly venerable nothingness meant. In other words, as long as earthly venerable nothingness was present, even if they lost 10 honorables and 1 honorable, what could they do? An earthly venerable was enough to resist 100 honorables and 100 honorables. This was the so-called deterrent power of earthly venerable nothingness. We can't help Brother Long. We can only resign ourselves to fate. Dugu Bai sighed deeply in his heart. He knew that as a friend, he had done all he could. If Longao had stopped in time, this matter would not have ended up like this. Even when Longao had killed 10 sovereigns, he hadn't drawn out this super expert. But now, a sovereign had died. Moreover, he was the master of the Blood Sea sect. One could imagine how Sovereign Void would react. Ao Tian cursed Longao in his heart. Why did you go and kill Guanfeng? Now, you have provoked a super expert. Not to mention a small Longao. Even the Ghost King sect could not be Guanhang's opponent. To be able to kill 10 venerables and a martial saint of my Blood Sea sect by yourself, Longao, you can be considered the first person in all of history. No one doubted Guanhang's evaluation, because Longao's achievements were indeed unparalleled. Chapter 304. 2 Void Earthly Venerables. Among the 6 major sects, only the Blood Sea sect and the Ghost King sect had void earthly venerables. Ao Shichong, do you want to interfere in the feud between the Blood Sea sect and Longao? Guanhang was not a fool. He knew that Ao Shichong would not come out for no reason. Was it because of a small Longao? Because of this, Guanhang was extremely shocked. No matter what, his opponent was a second-grade earthly venerable, while he was only a first-grade earthly venerable. If they were to really fight, he had no confidence that he could defeat Ao Shichong. There were 3 realms in the earthly venerate. The difference between level 1 earthly venerate, level 2 earthly venerate, and level 3 earthly venerate was huge. If Ao Shichong really wanted to interfere, it would be really troublesome. Brother Guan, Longao is only a child. He was reckless this time. Ao Shichong's words were very clear. This time, he had come to protect Longao. He wanted to see whether the Blood Sea sect would give him face or not. If it was an ordinary warrior, the Blood Sea sect wouldn't even bother with him. However, the identity and strength of the opposite party were there. The Blood Sea sect didn't dare to refuse. Dugubai and Xiajun were overjoyed. They never thought that the Ghost King sect's elder ancestor would suddenly descend. This matter was really full of twists and turns. With the help of an earthly sovereign, Longao was finally free of worries. Ao Shichong, Longao killed 10 of my venerables and the sect master. Is this what a child would do? Without waiting for Ao Shichong to speak, Guanhang continued, Longao must pay with his blood. No matter who it is, if they dare to stop us, we will kill them. Guanhang's words were mainly directed at the Ghost King sect. Guanhang did not care about anyone here, except for Ao Shichong. Hearing this, Ao Shichong's face gradually turned cold. No matter what, he had already come out. Guanhang should at least give him some face. But the result? Guan Hang did not give him any face at all. The Blood Sea sect had already suppressed the Ghost King sect. Ao Shicheng knew that if this matter could not be settled, even if the Ghost King sect became the overlord of the Tianzhou, there would be people who would not accept it. At least, many people would say that the Blood Sea sect had suppressed the Ghost King sect. It was because of this that Ao Shicheng would not back down. Ao Shicheng sneered and said, "Guan Hang, you have to understand that the battle between Longao and the 10 Venerables was a battle of life and death. Life and death are determined by fate. Victory and defeat are determined by the heavens. You can't blame anyone else. Guan Feng only has himself to blame. Could it be that the Blood Sea sect wants to play dirty?" He was rendered speechless. This was because Guan Hang knew very well that this was indeed the case. Longao had openly defeated the 10 Venerables and Guan Feng. Even he himself could not deny this. But was he really going to let Longao go? If that was really the case, what would happen to the face of the Blood Sea sect? He would definitely become the laughingstock of the world. "Longao, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept?" Pucci. Hearing this, mocking laughter came from all around. Guan Hang challenged Longao? It was simply shameless to the extreme. One had to know that Guan Hang was a genuine earthly venerable, but he wanted to challenge a venerables. Moreover, it was a youth who had already fought 2 battles. Just this point alone showed that Guan Hang's shamelessness was simply unmatched. "Guan Hang, I originally thought that you were someone, but now it seems that you're just us." Guan Hang completely ignored everyone's contempt and even ignored Ao Shicheng's mockery. He only knew one thing, and that was that no matter what happened, Longao must die. He must not let him leave the Blood Sea sect. It was precisely because of this that Guan Hang would rather be ridiculed and despised by others and insisted on keeping Longao. If Ao Shicheng did not appear, then he could kill Longao at any time. However, the situation was different now. Ao Shicheng of the Ghost King sect was right beside him. If he forcefully killed Longao, then Ao Shicheng would also act. At that time, not only would he be in trouble, but even the sect would be in trouble. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he would not agree. Longao had never thought that the Blood Sea sect would have Void Earthly Venerable in charge. He was very clear about Void Earthly Venerable's strength. Even if he used the remaining 2 drops of Fire Qilin blood essence, it was impossible to kill Void Earthly Venerable. Seeing that Longao did not accept the challenge, Guan Hang's face was gloomy to the extreme. How could Guan Hang not understand Longao's meaning? If Longao refused to accept the challenge, could he really kill Longao by force? Ao Shicheng on the other side was watching covetously. Once the Ghost King sect and Ao Shicheng really fell out and wanted to protect Longao, then could he really block them? "Guan Hang, Longao is unwilling to accept the challenge. Can we leave now?" "Leave?" With a cold snort, Guan Hang suddenly asked, "Ao Shicheng, I want to ask you, what right do you have to intervene in this matter?" "Guan Hang, if you are not stupid, I will tell you that Longao is a member of my Ghost King sect." "Ao Shicheng, are you deliberately looking for trouble?" Longao was a member of the Ghost King sect? Not to mention Guan Hang, even the others were a little confused. They did not know when Longao had become a member of the Ghost King sect. "Ha ha ha, ignorant fool. If Longao and Aoshue get married, won't he become a member of my Ghost King sect? Am I right?" Hearing this, Guan Hang's face was gloomy to the extreme. Under normal circumstances, if Longao and Aoshue got married, Longao would definitely be a member of the Ghost King sect. If that was the case, killing Longao was equivalent to going against the Ghost King sect. Longao was also a little shocked by Ao Shicheng's words. This was because the Ghost King sect had not agreed to him and Aoshue from the beginning. Longao smiled helplessly. He clearly knew that the reason why the other party had protected him was because they had taken a fancy to his talent and potential. Otherwise, why would the Ghost King sect defend the entire Blood Sea sect for the sake of one person? However, no matter what, Longao was not a reckless person. Today, an earthly venerable had appeared in the Blood Sea sect. It was almost impossible for him to destroy the Blood Sea sect. Since that was the case, where there was life, there was hope. It was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. As long as he could leave the Blood Sea sect alive, there would be plenty of opportunities for revenge in the future. Thinking of this, Longao did not say anything and let Ao Shichong handle the matter. Ao Shichong also began to release his aura. A grade 2 earthly venerable was no joke. Once the battle started, the Blood Sea sect would be the one to suffer in the end. However, the Blood Sea sect could be said to have suffered a great loss. They had lost a total of 10 sovereigns and 1 sovereign. If it was not for the lack of confidence, the Blood Sea sect would not have to withdraw from the battle for supremacy. Guanheng was very unwilling. The Blood Sea sect had already withdrawn from the battle. If they could not even kill Longao, then the Blood Sea sect might as well just die. The Blood Sea sect could not accept such humiliation. Chapter 305. Ha ha ha, Ao Shichong. No matter how you quibble, Longao will definitely die today. As he spoke, Guanheng's body had already shot towards Longao. The strength of an earthly venerable was extremely strong. With Longao's current strength, it was impossible for him to compete with him. However, before Longao could dodge, Ao Shichong had already made his move. The two earthly venerables instantly engaged in an earth-shattering battle. Just their aura alone was enough to scare off many warriors. Ao Shichong, my Blood Sea sect and your Ghost King sect will not rest until one of us is dead. Ha ha ha, anytime. He simply ignored Guanheng's threat. No matter what, the strength of the Ghost King sect was there. Even if they provoked the Blood Sea sect, so what? Ao Shichong knew very well that even if there was no Longao's matter, the Ghost King sect and the Blood Sea sect would still go to war. Longao had killed 10 venerables and 1 sovereign, causing the Blood Sea sect's strength to be greatly damaged. Although they had temporarily withdrawn from the battle, the Ghost King sect was not stupid. Once the Blood Sea sect recovered, they would definitely make a comeback. No matter when, the Blood Sea sect was the biggest hidden danger. Since they had to face the Blood Sea sect in a life and death battle, why didn't the Ghost King sect choose now and wait for the Blood Sea sect to become stronger in the future? Because of this, Ao Shichong decided to kill Guanheng. When the time came, the Ghost King sect would join forces with the other 4 sects to deal with the Blood Sea sect. He believed that the Blood Sea sect would not be able to resist for long. How could Guanheng not know what Ao Shichong was thinking? Originally, they had the chance to fight for the position of Tianzhou. However, because of Guanfeng's wrong decision, the Blood Sea sect had fallen into a passive situation and was restrained everywhere. Guanheng clearly knew that Longao had to be killed and the Ghost King sect must be dealt with. Otherwise, the Blood Sea sect would be in big trouble. The battle between the two earthly venerables started from the ground to mid-air. It was very exciting. Longao did not care about the battle at all. He rushed towards the 2 sovereigns. His intention was very clear. Seeing Longao's actions, everyone was completely convinced. The old ancestor of the Blood Sea sect, the earthly venerable rank martial artist Guanheng, had already made his move. If not for the old ancestor of the Ghost King sect, it was likely that Longao would have been killed by now. It was not easy for the 2 earthly venerables to fight. Not only did Longao not take advantage of this opportunity to leave the Blood Sea sect, he even took the initiative to attack the 2 sovereigns. In everyone's eyes, Longao's actions were simply ignorant of the immensity of heaven and earth. Under normal circumstances, Longao wouldn't be a match for 1 supreme being, let alone 2. Longao wouldn't even be a match for 1 supreme being. However, the current situation was completely different. Longao had killed Guanfeng in an instant. The 2 great masters were already scared out of their wits. They didn't even need to fight. They had already determined that Longao's strength was above theirs. Even if he couldn't kill them in an instant, he could at least kill them within 10 moves. Of course, the 2 supreme beings were afraid of death. It was because of this fear that they didn't dare to fight Longao head-on. However, Longao clearly didn't want to give the Blood Sea sect any chance to make a comeback. It wasn't easy for the earthly venerable of the Ghost King sect to help him. If Guanheng and the remaining 2 supreme beings were killed, then the Blood Sea sect would truly be at its end. Thinking of this, Longao didn't hesitate to stake everything on this one throw and prepare to kill the two supreme beings. Longao's actions, in the eyes of outsiders, were reckless and reckless. However, in the eyes of Dugu Bai and Xiaojun, Longao was definitely filled with confidence. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so reckless. Before this, everyone thought that Longao would definitely die after causing havoc in the Blood Sea sect. But what was the result? Longao successfully counterattacked. Although they didn't know how Longao did it, one thing was certain. Longao really did it. Not only did he kill 10 supreme beings of the Blood Sea sect, he even killed one of their supreme beings. Such an achievement was enough to look down on the 9 provinces. Longao's speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived in front of the 2 supreme beings. Longao, what are you doing? The 2 supreme beings' question was really funny. However, in this situation, no one dared to laugh. They all looked at Longao foolishly, waiting to see what Longao would do. Although they knew that Longao wanted to kill the 2 supreme beings, everyone was still looking forward to it. After all, Longao was still a supreme being. Fighting 1 against 2, could he kill 2 supreme beings? Longao, you dare. Guanhang, who was fighting with Ao Shichong, saw that Longao had already intercepted the 2 supreme beings. His expression changed, as if he had thought of something. Although he didn't want to believe it, he knew that Longao could definitely do it. If it was an ordinary person, not to mention killing 2 supreme beings, they wouldn't even dare to step into the Blood Sea sect. But what about Longao? Not only did he kill his way into the Blood Sea sect alone, he also killed 10 supreme beings and 1 supreme being. With such a violent temper, he could definitely continue to chase after the 2 supreme beings. Being entangled by Ao Shichong, Guanhang was completely furious. The Blood Sea sect couldn't lose 2 supreme beings. Otherwise, he would be the only one left in the Blood Sea sect. However, Longao ignored Guanhang and had already made his move. This time, Longao was prepared to kill the 2 supreme beings in one strike. Otherwise, if the 2 supreme beings saw through his scheme, it would be troublesome. He still had 2 drops of the Fire Cheelant's life essence blood left. As long as he could kill the 2 supreme beings in one strike, he would definitely be able to kill them. Under normal circumstances, the 2 supreme beings would definitely be on guard. But now, the 2 supreme beings' state of mind had changed. As they dodged, Longao's soul attack smoothly invaded their bodies and souls. 2 miserable shrieks rang out. Before the crowd could figure out what was going on, the 2 supreme beings' bodies had already collapsed. Killing 2 supreme beings in one strike? Looking at the corpses on the ground, everyone was scared silly. Longao's strength was too strong. Not only could he kill 1 supreme being in one strike, he could even kill 2 supreme beings in one strike. With such strength, wouldn't he be able to look down on supreme beings? Longao, I'll kill you. 2 supremes were killed right in front of his eyes. This kind of humiliation could be considered as an extraordinary humiliation. If he was unable to kill Longao, Guanhang could totally commit suicide, because staying in this world would be a disgrace. However, Ao Shichong didn't give Guanhang any chance at all. He was entangled with his opponent. A second-level earthly venerable was much stronger than a first-level earthly venerable. Ao Shichong was still holding back. Otherwise, Guanhang's life would be uncertain. Ao Shichong, I'll F King kill you. Ha ha ha, with just you? Guanhang, all the experts of your Blood Sea sect have been slaughtered. From now on, there will be no Blood Sea sect in Tianzhou. When the people of the 5 major sects heard this, they weren't happy at all. Everyone knew that the Blood Sea sect had an earthly venerable. As long as Guanhang didn't die, the Blood Sea sect wouldn't be destroyed. Sooner or later, they would rise again. After all, an earthly venerable was more valuable than 3 supreme beings and 10 supreme beings. Chapter 306. The Blood Sea sect was in a tragic state. 10 reverends and 1 supreme being, that was almost all of the Blood Sea sect's assets. But now, they were all slaughtered by Longao. Not a single one was left. Just a moment ago, Longao killed the remaining two supreme beings. Since then, the Blood Sea sect no longer had any reverends and supreme beings. Only Guan Hang was left. At this moment, Guan Hang was furious to the extreme. Every move he made was vicious, hoping to kill Ao Shichong. But Ao Shichong was still a second-level supreme being. It was almost impossible for Guan Hang to kill him with his strength alone. The battle between the two supreme beings had reached its climax. They could lose their lives at any time. Longao sent the souls of the two supreme beings into the dragon seal space. He raised his head and looked at the battle in the sky coldly. Longao was depressed. Although his cultivation had reached the reverend realm, it was difficult for him to stand in the sky. It was almost impossible. Not to mention him, even a supreme being wouldn't be able to do it. Longao, I'm going to tear you to shreds. Ignoring Guan Hang's threat, Longao suddenly said coldly, "You destroyed my Long family. I have already said that I will destroy your Blood Sea sect, not leaving a single one alive." Hearing this, Guan Hang, who was in the middle of a battle with Ao Shichong, was shocked. The surrounding people weren't fools. Of course, they understood what Longao meant. He wanted to destroy the Blood Sea sect? If Longao had said such big words before, he would definitely be laughed to death by everyone. However, at this moment, not a single person doubted him. Let's ask, for a devil that could instantly kill a sovereign, massacring the Blood Sea sect didn't seem to be a difficult matter. Slaughter. Longao's heart was filled with killing intent. At this moment, Longao's eyes were red. His whole body moved with the wind. The Blood Sea sect, one of the 6 great sects, had the strength to contend with the Ghost King sect. The Blood Sea sect had over 10,000 disciples. It would be impossible for Longao to slaughter them all by himself. However, Longao didn't do that. He summoned his 3 soul slaves, his 3 venerables, and himself. Next, Longao began to slaughter the Blood Sea sect. 1, 2, 3. In just a few minutes, over 100 people from the Blood Sea sect had already been killed. As for Guan Hang, who was unable to extricate himself from the battle, his entire body was trembling with rage. He was so angry that his state of mind had changed. He, who was already under control, became even more flustered. He was even hit by Ao Shichong's palm, followed by another. 1 hour later, the two utmost exalted were still fighting. However, the current Blood Sea sect was filled with corpses. Blood flowed like a river. Corpses were everywhere. According to the strength of Longao and his 3 soul slaves, the disciples of the Blood Sea sect were basically defenseless. They were like meat on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Brother Long, that's enough. Seeing Longao's endless slaughter, Dugu Bai and Xiajun were shocked. They both knew that if Longao continued to slaughter like this, he would definitely be devoured by the slaughter. At that time, he would definitely become a killing tool. As friends, the two of them naturally didn't want to see Longao become a killing tool. However, the result was, he suddenly turned around. He had already slaughtered over 10,000 people. He had practically slaughtered the entire Blood Sea sect. Longao's eyes were bloodshot as he looked at Dugu Bai and Xiajun. He coldly said, "You will all die." Before Dugu Bai and Xiajun could react, Longao's corpse had already rushed over. It was a killing move. With Longao's current strength, he was already the #1 person under the earthly exalted realm. With just the two of them, it was impossible for them to be a match for him. Dugu Bai and Xiajun were shocked. Of course, they knew what had happened. The two of them didn't dare to be careless. They quickly turned around and left. At this moment, perhaps because Longao had killed too much, he was completely devoured by the slaughter. In his eyes, there was only killing, killing, killing. Holding the bloodsucker broadsword, Longao crazily slaughtered the people from the 5 major sections. No matter who they were, he killed without mercy. No one could react to this sudden change. Longao's speed and strength were too terrifying. The people from the 5 major sects couldn't even dodge in time and were directly devoured by Longao. Longao was like a killing god. He killed everyone he saw, no matter who they were. If Longao wasn't strong, then the 5 major sects could at least kill him and protect themselves. However, the problem now was that Longao and the three soul slaves were practically invincible. Even Sir Firestone couldn't resist. If he hadn't run fast enough, he would have been killed by now. Dugubai and Xiajun barely escaped. Looking at the corpses all over the ground and Longao, who was still slaughtering the 5 major sects, their faces were so gloomy that water could drip from them. The two of them never thought that Longao would really be devoured by the slaughter and become a killing tool. Although the two of them were unwilling to admit it, they still knew that Longao was no longer the brother Long of the past. Since he had become a killing tool and slaughtered the 6 major sects, then from now on, Longao would be the common enemy of the 6 major sects, including the Sound of Thunder sect. Brother Dugu, what should we do now? Unless it was a last resort, Xiajun definitely wouldn't want to lose this friend. Shaking his head, Dugubai said, Brother Long has been devoured by the slaughter and has become a killing tool. There's no way for him to recover unless he's killed. However, with Longao's current strength, unless the 2 earthly venerables take action personally, no one can defeat him. Longao. Dugubai didn't continue to call him Brother Longao. Instead, he directly called him Longao. Xiajun was shocked, because he already knew that even Dugubai had chosen to give up on Brother Long. Could it be that Brother Long would definitely die? Ao Shirchong, Longao has now become a killing tool. If you and I continue to fight, once Longao leaves the Blood River sect, not to mention the other sects, even your Ghost King sect will suffer. You don't want to see your Ghost King sect being slaughtered, right? Ao Shirchong, who was originally prepared to kill Guanhang, heard this and his face became extremely gloomy. This was because he never thought that Longao would suddenly be devoured by the slaughter and become a killing tool. Just now, Longao had not only slaughtered the disciples of the Blood River sect, but also the disciples of the 5 major sections. If this situation continued, just as Guanhang said, the Ghost King sect would not be spared. Ao Shirchong cursed fiercely in his heart. He knew very well that the reason why Longao had become a killing tool was all because of the Blood River sect. However, no matter what, Longao had now become a killing tool. If he didn't stop it early, the consequences would be unimaginable. In the end, both of them stopped. Looking down at Longao, who was still slaughtering the 6 major sects, Guanhang suddenly asked, Are you going to do it, or should I? P.S. I just came back. Xiaojiu, go and write immediately. Try to finish all the updates before 12. Chapter 307. Ao Shirchong waved his hand. He was really unwilling to kill Longao. Ao Shirchong was very optimistic about Longao's talent and potential. If he could recruit this person into the Ghost King sect, then this person's future would be limitless. But now the situation was completely different. Longao had been devoured by the massacre. If he was not killed, there was no doubt that Longao would become a killing tool. Ah, good. Guanhang was excited to the extreme. He had thought that with Ao Shirchong's intervention, it would be impossible to kill Longao today. However, things had taken a turn for the worse. Longao had been slaughtered and swallowed, and had become a tool of slaughter. Before he arrived, his powerful aura had already suppressed Guanhang. Longao was directly locked on by his aura. There was no doubt that Longao was no match for Guanhang. But at this moment, Longao did something that shocked everyone. 9 Needles Sealing Spirit. Many people knew about Longao's 9 Needles Sealing Spirit. It was because of 9 Needles Sealing Spirit that Longao defeated Zhang Zhihong and took a blow from Zhang Emo. One could imagine how powerful 9 Needles Sealing Spirit was. 9 Needles Sealing Spirit could instantly improve a warrior's strength. According to Longao's current strength, he could already kill a Supreme Master. If he continued to use 9 Needles Sealing Spirit, how far could his strength break through? If Longao was at the peak of the Tao Ancestor, it was almost impossible for him to break through to the Void Realm with 9 Needles Sealing Spirit. But Longao used Fire Kylan's strength to break through to the Venerable Realm. If he used 9 Needles Sealing Spirit, it would not be difficult for him to break through to the peak of the Supreme Master. But Longao had already broken through to the Venerable Realm. If he continued to use 9 Needles Sealing Spirit, the consequences would be unimaginable. If Longao was awake, he would definitely not use Nine Needles Sealing Spirit. But now, Longao had been devoured by the massacre and was in a delirious state. Nine Needles Sealing Spirit broke through to the peak of the Supreme Master in an instant. If Longao could break through to the earthly venerable realm with the help of the Nine Needles of God Sealing, then killing Guanhang would be a piece of cake. However, the Nine Needles investiture technique was not omnipotent. In the end, Longao remained at the peak of the supreme martial artist realm. Longao completely ignored Guanhang and rushed out as well. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already engaged in a fierce battle. Longao was not afraid of death at all. He chose the fiercest and wildest way of fighting, close combat. Guanhang was also shocked, but even if the other party had used some kind of secret technique to break through to the Supreme Being level, a Supreme Being would always be a Supreme Being. Chapter 308. Blood Sea Sect. The boundless Blood Sea was known as the Blood Sea Sect's most sacred place for cultivation. Normal disciples were not allowed to enter. However, no one knew that the boundless Blood Sea Sect was listed as a forbidden area because no matter who it was, they could not stay in the boundless Blood Sea for too long. Otherwise, they would be corroded by the blood pool. The blood pool in the boundless Blood Sea was the most mysterious place in the Blood Sea Sect. No matter who it was, as long as they fell in, they would die without a doubt. Even their bones would not be found. Longao caused a ruckus in the Blood Sea Sect. He killed 10 honorables and 3 sovereigns in the boundless Blood Sea. In the blink of an eye, he had shaken the entire Tianzhou, and even the 9 states. Those who received the news all raised their thumbs in admiration of Longao. After all, the Blood Sea Sect was the leader of the 6 sects, and their strength was comparable to the Ghost King sect. Ignoring Longao's strength, his courage alone was enough to look down on his peers in the 9 states. To be able to kill 3 sovereigns and 10 honorables in an instant, Longao instantly became the idol of all young people. He also naturally became the number 1 on the 9 states ranking. Regarding this point, the thousands of people on the 9 leaderboards did not have the slightest objection. This was because even if it was Long Patian, Dugubai, and the other first rankers on the leaderboards, would they be able to do what Longao had done? However, in the end, Longao still fell. The 6 sects spread the news that after Longao killed 10 honorables and 3 sovereigns, he did not stop there. Instead, he began to slaughter the entire Blood Sea sect. In the end, he even began to slaughter the disciples of the 5 sects. In the end, Longao was devoured by the slaughter and became a tool of slaughter. Not only that, the Ghost King sect's ancestor chose to give up. In the end, the Blood Sea sect's ancestor, an earthly honorable, personally killed Longao. Even so, Longao still shook the entire 9 states. After this battle, the Blood Sea sect was greatly weakened. All of their experts were killed, leaving only 1 earthly honorable. However, the Blood Sea sect still lost the right to fight for the Tianzhou. Of the 6 major sects, the Blood Sea sect had already chosen to withdraw. The other 4 major sects naturally did not dare to compete with the Ghost King sect. However, the Ghost King sect had an earthly venerable rank martial artist holding the fort. They could easily wipe out the 4 major sects. Only those who were blind would fall out with the Ghost King sect. Longao's ruckus at the Blood River sect not only affected himself, but also affected the entire structure of the Sky region. In a short span of 3 days, the Ghost King sect had become the number 1 sect in Tianzhou. Furthermore, the 6 major sects had formed an alliance. Ghost King Aotion had become the first leader of the alliance. In a short span of time, the Ghost King sect had soared into the sky. Everyone felt that Longao's death was a great pity. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. A month had already passed, but the most discussed topic in the 9 prefectures was still Longao causing havoc in the Blood Sea sect and slaughtering the disciples of the 6 major sects. A super genius of a generation had fallen just like that. It was unknown if the heavens were jealous of Longao. Tianzhou, halfway up an extremely secluded mountain. In a month's time, This originally abandoned mountain range had been opened up. Nearly a few thousand people from the Long and Wang families had all hidden here in fear of the Blood River sect's revenge. According to Long Haosher's plan, as long as the family was fine, his grandson could sit back and relax. He could do whatever he wanted without any scruples. However, what was the result? When the Long family heard about Longao causing havoc in the Blood Sea sect, everyone went completely crazy. They were all furious and prepared to seek revenge from the Blood Sea sect. However, they were all stopped by Long Haosher. Long Haosher's intention was simple. His grandson wanted to avenge the family. If the family rashly sought revenge from the Blood Sea sect and something happened, his grandson would not be able to rest in peace even if he knew about it in the underworld. Longao's Peak. Longao was the most dazzling genius of the Long family, so Long Haosher named this peak as Longao's Peak. With the fire Qilin guarding it, he believed that he would not have to worry even if the Blood Sea sect came. At the peak of the peak, the cold wind blew on Long Haosher and Wang Yidao's cheeks. The two old men seemed to have aged a lot at this moment. They seemed to have experienced a lot of vicissitudes of life because the most dazzling genius of the Long family, Longao, had fallen in just 1 month. Long Haosher felt deeply guilty. If he had spread the news earlier, as long as his grandson knew that the family was fine, he believed that his grandson would not have caused havoc in the Blood Sea sect and would not have fallen. Deeply sighing, Wang Yidao said, "Brother Long, the news from the 5 great sects only said that Ao fell into the blood pool of the boundless Blood Sea and did not really fall. Maybe a miracle will happen." Miracle? Smiling bitterly, Long Haosher said sadly, "As everyone knows, the Blood Sea sect's boundless Blood Sea is very dangerous, especially the blood pool. Anyone who enters will die without exception. Not to mention, according to the legends, Ao had caused havoc in the Blood Sea sect and slaughtered the 5 great sections. His mind had been devoured by the slaughter and became a tool of slaughter. Brother Wang, you should know better than me what would happen if he fell into the blood pool." Deeply sighing again, Wang Yidao originally wanted to persuade Long Haosher, but the truth was in front of his eyes, so he did not know what to say. "Although I regret it, I am very proud." Proud? Wang Yidao obviously knew what Long Haosher meant by proud. After all, no matter who it was, they would feel proud to have such a grandson. Yes, Ao broke into the Blood Sea sect alone, killed 10 venerables and 3 supremes, and even fought with an earthly venerable. Although he lost, it was still a glorious defeat. Now, in the 9 continents, there is no one who does not know Ao. Ha ha ha, how could my grandson be weak? Brother Wang, you're right. As long as Ao doesn't show up, it doesn't mean that Ao is dead. So I will wait. I firmly believe that Ao will come back alive. Nodding his head, Wang Yidao said confidently, "Ao has always brought us surprises. This time will be no exception." Seeming to have thought of something, Wang Yidao said in a serious voice, "Brother Long, although the Blood Sea sect was heavily damaged by Ao, their strength is still there. Therefore, we must not leak the news that we are here. Otherwise, the Blood Sea sect will not let us go. At that time, we will be in big trouble." Yes, you are right. We must not leak the news that we are here. Long Haosher knew very well that although the fire Qilin was guarding the Long Ao peak, no one knew when the fire Qilin would suddenly leave. Last time, if the fire Qilin did not suddenly leave, things would not have ended up like this. The Long family left the Red Fire town, and Ao caused havoc in the Blood Sea sect. Because of this, Long Haosher and Wang Yidao decided not to leak the news. Even if they did not consider themselves, they had to consider the whole family. Chapter 309. Blood Sea Sect. The boundless Blood Sea, beside the blood pool. Guanheng stared at the blood pool in front of him. He hadn't moved for 3 whole months. The anger in Guanheng's heart made him unable to react. After all, Blood Sea Sect could be the overlord of Tianzhou, but in the end, it was because of the sudden appearance of a single person that the Blood Sea Sect's strength had been greatly damaged. A total of 10 venerables and 3 sovereigns had all been slaughtered. In fact, Nearly 95% of the sect's over 10,000 disciples had been slaughtered. With Blood Sea sect's current strength, not to mention the overlord of Tianzhou, they might not even be able to keep their previous position. Ghost King sect had already become the overlord of Tianzhou. Guanhang thought that once Blood Sea sect withdrew from the competition, Ghost King sect would let Blood Sea sect go. But in the end, after the Ghost King sect became the overlord of the Tianzhou, they immediately turned around and began to attack the Blood Sea sect. In a short span of a month, all the remaining disciples of the Blood Sea sect were killed, leaving only him. Longao, Ao Shichong, I will remember the kindness you have shown me. I will definitely repay you twice as much. Longao had already fallen into the blood pool and was 100% dead. But Guanhang was not satisfied. Even if Longao was dead, Longao's lover, Aoshue, was still alive. Ghost King sect was his biggest enemy. Guanhang had decided that no matter what happened, he would destroy Ghost King sect, including Aoshue. Brother Guan, I haven't seen you in a month. How are you? Without even turning around, Guanhang could already guess who it was, because this voice was something he would never forget in his life. Ao Shichong, Blood Sea sect has already withdrawn from the Tianzhou competition, but you are forcing us. I want to tell you, don't go overboard. Otherwise, you will receive retribution. Ha ha ha, laughing loudly, Ao Shichong did not put Guanhang in his eyes at all. He sneered and said, You and I know very well that although the Blood Sea sect only exists in name, as long as you are alive, you will always be a threat to my Ghost King sect. Ao Shichong didn't continue, but the meaning in his words was clear. Guanhang's face was ugly and gloomy to the extreme. He suddenly laughed and asked, Are you really so confident that you can kill me? Without waiting for Ao Shichong to speak, Guanhang continued, I've just decided that from now on, I'll try my best to assassinate the disciples of the Ghost King sect. I want to ask, with our strength, how many people in the Ghost King sect can withstand us? He wasn't angry at all, as if Ao Shichong had already guessed it. Guanhang, since things have come to this point, why don't we be frank? You no longer have the chance to assassinate my Ghost King sect's disciple. This time, I'm here to kill you. I have full confidence that I can kill you. Guanhang's expression was very ugly. The more confident Ao Shichong appeared, the more uncertain Guanhang felt. Did Ao Shichong really have the confidence to kill him? Are you scared? I'm scared? Ha ha ha. You think you can kill me? Ao Shichong didn't talk nonsense and took out an item from his chest. Seeing this item, Guanhang's face suddenly changed and he exclaimed, Imperial City Token. What did the Imperial City Token represent? Once it was issued, everyone had to obey it, or they would die without a burial place. Guanhang never thought that Ao Shichong would have the Imperial City Token. Ao Shichong, so you're from the Imperial City? Yes, I'm from the Imperial City, Guanhang. You should know about the Imperial City and the Imperial City Token. I'm holding the Imperial City Token in my hand. Anyone who dares to violate the Imperial City Token will be killed. What do you want? Guanhang, I'm officially informing you to kill yourself here. Looking at the Imperial City Token in Ao Shichong's hand, Guanhang's face was extremely gloomy. However, Guanhang suddenly laughed and said, Ao Shichong, if it was me in the past, maybe I wouldn't violate the Imperial City Token. But now, the Blood Sea sect exists in name only, and I'm all alone. Do you think I'm still afraid of you? Guanhang, you dare to violate the Imperial City Token? Hearing the voice, Guanhang seemed to have thought of something and exclaimed, Law Enforcement Celestial Venerable? Ha ha ha, so you know about the Law Enforcement Celestial Venerable? At this time, a big man came from not far away. He was tall and sturdy, and looked very handsome. However, there was a trace of arrogance and coldness on his face. Feeling the aura emitted from his body, Guanhang could already confirm that he was the Law Enforcement Celestial Venerable of the Imperial City. Guanhang never thought that he would attract the attention of the Law Enforcement Celestial Venerable of the Imperial City. It seemed that the relationship between the Ghost King sect and the Imperial City was not simple. For so many years, the Ghost King sect had been hiding it. Guanhang, you violated the Imperial City Token. That's a capital offense. Do you plead guilty? Law enforcement celestial venerable, I want to ask, what crime have I committed that the imperial city wants to kill me? Guanhang was not convinced. No matter what, he was the only one left in the Blood Sea sect. As the saying goes, a man can eat his fill and the whole family won't starve. He was afraid that the imperial city would kill him. Anyway, things had already reached this point. Hua Fon, one of the law enforcement celestial venerables of the imperial city. Just from the name alone, it was clear that Hua Fon was a powerful celestial venerable. If not, how could Guanhang panic? Guanhang, your Blood Sea sect provoked Longao for no reason and provoked endless slaughter. Just based on this point alone, the imperial city wants to kill you. Ha ha ha, if you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. I originally thought that the imperial city was a fair place, but I never thought that the imperial city would also be a place that protects its own. Since the imperial city has determined that the Blood Sea sect is guilty, then it's useless for me to say more. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Hearing Hua Fan's reason, as long as Guanhang was not a fool, he could tell that the imperial city was deliberately targeting the Blood Sea sect. The reason was very simple. It was because of the Ghost King sect. If it was only the Ghost King sect, Guanhang could still be lucky enough to assassinate them. However, the imperial city was not something the Ghost King sect could compare to, especially when the imperial city had used the imperial city token and sent out the law enforcement celestial venerable. Guanhang had already given up resisting. Since he was destined to die, what was the point of resisting? Hua Fan glanced at Ao Shichong beside him and said coldly, "From now on, the Blood Sea sect will be removed from Tianzhou and replaced by the Ghost King sect." Hearing this, Ao Shichong's heart was immediately filled with joy. He said, "Thank you, Celestial Venerable, for granting my wish. All right, let's settle this quickly. I still have things to do. Remember, from now on, the Ghost King sect is the representative of the Imperial City in Tianzhou. If you have any problems, you can come to me directly. If you don't agree, you will be killed without mercy." Ao Shichong was extremely excited. He certainly knew what it meant for the Ghost King sect to be the representative of the Imperial City. Chapter 310. Now that the Imperial City had intervened and sent out a law enforcer, Guanhang no longer had any chance. Guanhang's death meant that the Blood Sea sect was completely destroyed. From now on, the Ghost King sect became the absolute overlord of Tianzhou. The news of Guanhang being killed by the law enforcer of the Imperial City spread across Tianzhou and even the entire 9 states. Hearing about the Imperial City, everyone was shocked. They didn't know why the Imperial City Order, which hadn't appeared for a few years, suddenly appeared. Then, the news of the Ghost King sect representing the Imperial City to rule Tianzhou also spread. Originally, many sects and families in the 8 states were not convinced and wanted to enter Tianzhou and rule Tianzhou with the Ghost King sect. But when they heard that the Ghost King sect was the representative of the Imperial City, all sects and families stopped. The Imperial City was a super existence above the 9 states. No one would have thought that the Ghost King sect was a subsidiary sect of the Imperial City. No wonder the Ghost King sect could summon the Imperial City Order and kill Guanhang with the help of the law enforcer. Thunder Sect, Back Mountain. Brother Dugu, have you heard the news? The Imperial City Order suddenly appeared and Guanhang was killed by the law enforcer. Nodding, Dugubai said, "How could I not know about such a big thing? It's unbelievable. The Imperial City is supporting the Ghost King sect to rule Tianzhou. It seems like the other sects have no chance." This time, the law enforcer killed Guanhang and officially announced that the Blood Sea sect will be removed from Tianzhou. That's to be expected. Among the 4 overlords of the 9 states, the Imperial City is the strongest. The Imperial City Medallion is everyone's nightmare. Anyone who obtains the Imperial City Medallion would tremble in fear. However, it has been a long time since the Imperial City Medallion appeared. The 4 overlords of the 9 states are the East Royal City, the West Dragon Clan, the South Underworld Mansion, and the North Ethereal Palace. Sighing deeply, Dugu Bai continued, "The 4 overlords usually don't appear. But every time they appear, they caused chaos in the 9 states. The East Royal City, the West Dragon Clan, the South Underworld Mansion, and the North Ethereal Palace. The 4 overlords of the 9 states were the East Royal City, the West Dragon Clan, the South Underworld Mansion, and the North Ethereal Palace. The 4 overlords haven't appeared for many years. In the eyes of the world, the 4 overlords were very mysterious. Every time they appeared, the 9 states would fall into chaos. On top of that, the Imperial City was supporting the Ghost King House to take over Tianzhou. Their intentions were obvious. Could it be that the Imperial City wanted to take over all 9 continents? Big Brother Dugu, the 4 overlords suffered great losses in the battle back then. Could it be that they want to do it all over again? The Xia army vaguely remembered the battle between the 4 overlords. It was world-shaking and caused countless casualties in the 9 prefectures. Corpses were strewn everywhere and blood flowed like rivers. In the end, none of the 4 overlords succeeded in dominating the 9 prefectures. Instead, they were all defeated and injured. Originally, the Great Xia army thought that it would take at least 100 years for the 4 overlords to recover. However, the Great Xia army never expected that the Imperial City would be able to make a comeback in just a short dozen years. Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. I'm a little tired. Letting out a deep sigh, Xia Jun knew what Brother Dugu was upset about. Brother Long's death seemed to be a huge blow to Dugu Bai, since Longao's talent and potential were just too shocking. Blood Sea Sect. Boundless Blood Sea. Inside the blood pool. Longao was thrown into the blood pool by Guan Hang, but he was considered to have escaped death. That was because Longao had killed too many people, and his mind was devoured by the killing. If nothing went wrong, he would definitely become a killing tool. Even Long Fu could not do anything about it. However, Longao was thrown into the blood pool, causing the blood water in the blood pool to crazily rush into Longao's body. It forcibly refined the killing in Longao's body and turned it into a bloody force. Ordinary people would be devoured by the blood water if they entered the blood pool. However, Longao's situation was different. The sacred body of desolation was the #1 physique in the world, and the power it required was terrifying. Longao first forcefully became a venerable, and then he became a supreme with the help of the 9 Needles investiture. Under the double promotion, the backlash was even more terrifying. However, it was all fate. After entering the blood pool, the backlash force was completely devoured by the blood water and also turned into power that entered Longao's body. The sacred body of desolation. Longao and Long Chong both belonged to the sacred body of desolation, and Long Ming was the emperor of the 9 Abyss Earthly Tiger clan. The 3 of them lay quietly at the bottom of the blood pool, absorbing the blood water around them and devouring it crazily. Long Chong and Longao were seriously injured and unconscious. The huge bodies of the dragon and tiger did not absorb the power of the blood water as crazily as Longao. Longao was like a tornado, and the blood water around him continuously entered his body. Then, it was refined by the sacred body of desolation. The essence was left behind, and the impurities were expelled. Inside the dragon seal space, Long Fu let out a long sigh of relief and said to himself, "Master is really lucky. If he can absorb the blood water here, it won't be a problem to achieve the desolate tyrant body." The desolate tyrant body was the #1 tyrant body since ancient times. No one had been able to successfully cultivate it. Long Fu was looking forward to seeing how strong his master would be if he could condense the desolate tyrant body. Because of this, Long Fu began to activate the dragon seal space to help the man, dragon, and tiger crazily absorb the blood water around them. According to the ratio of 2 to 2 to 6, most of it was devoured by Longao. After absorbing for an unknown period of time, Longao frowned and let out a cry of pain. At this time, the entire blood pool had turned from blood red to light blue. It was so clear that the bottom could be seen clearly. The bodies of Longao, Long Chong, and Long Ming could be clearly seen. At this moment, the Blood Sea sect had become a branch of the Ghost King sect and was occupied by thousands of Ghost King sect disciples. The Boundless Blood Sea was still listed as a forbidden area by the Ghost King sect. No matter who it was, no one could easily step into it. However, the disciples of the Ghost King sect could enter and cultivate. Each time they entered, they could only enter for a maximum of 2 hours. Those who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. At this time, in the Boundless Blood Sea martial arts field, there were hundreds of disciples sitting on the ground and cultivating quietly. However, for some unknown reason, as time slowly passed, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth in the Boundless Blood Sea had become much fainter. It was even worse than the outside world. Not only that, the blood water in the blood pool became lighter day by day. In 3 months, the blood water in the blood pool had completely faded and was so clear that the bottom could be seen. Because of this, a cry of surprise rang out, causing everyone to look at the blood pool. "Look, what's that?" Looking over, at the bottom of the blood pool, there was a man, a dragon, and a tiger lying there. The 3 of them had stopped absorbing the blood water around them. After 3 months of absorbing and refining, Longao and Long Chong had achieved the tyrant body of desolation, while Long Ming had condensed the tyrant body of 9 nether. "It's Longao, it's Longao, it's really Longao. My God, he's not dead," someone shouted. Then, the Boundless Blood Sea went completely berserk. Everyone screamed crazily as if they had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. P.S. Chapter 9 is complete. Chapter 10 will be uploaded at 1:00 in the morning. Xiaoju has something to do today, so I'm late. Please forgive me. Chapter 3:11. The Roars of Dragons and Tigers. Before the crowd could figure out what was going on, a figure rushed out of the blood pool with the roars of dragons and tigers. Then, a black dragon and a black tiger came out separately. One man, one dragon, and one tiger stopped at the training ground and looked around coldly. Long Ao's cold voice rang out. "All of you, get out." Everyone swallowed their saliva fiercely. No one dared to stay any longer. All of them left the martial arts field. However, no one left. One by one, they stood around the blood pool. They wanted to see what Long Ao wanted to do. At this moment, the clear sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds and thunder rumbled. In less than a minute, large patches of dark purple clouds had gathered above the Boundless Blood Sea. 100 tribulations? Looking at the dark clouds above their heads, everyone was shocked. Other than being shocked, they were even more puzzled. Wasn't Long Ao a venerable one? In the Void 8 state, one could only become a martial saint after passing through the 100 tribulations and cleansing one's body and turning the spirit energy in one's body into spiritual energy. A martial saint needed to pass through the 100 tribulations? Long Ao, Long Chong, and Long Ming didn't care about the strange gazes of the people around them. Long Ao, Long Chong, and Long Ming went through the 100 tribulations together. This kind of 100 tribulations was incomparably powerful. The 3 of us will go through the 100 tribulations together. I'd like to see how strong the 100 tribulations are. Long Chong and Long Ming nodded their heads. Their faces were relaxed, and they were not afraid of the 100 tribulations at all. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder rumbled and rumbled in the sky. Feeling the power of the tribulations, everyone retreated far away from the blood pool, afraid that they would be affected. Crack, 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 crack. The meaning of the 100 tribulations was simple. 100 tribulations would strike down one after another without any gap in between. One could imagine how strong the 100 tribulations were. Long Ao, Long Ming, and Long Chong were not afraid at all. Without waiting for the 100 tribulations to strike, the 3 of them had already rushed up. Did the 3 of them want to die? Seeing Long Ao and the other 2 taking the initiative to attack by Jia, everyone was shocked. They swallowed their saliva hard, as if they were looking at an idiot. The Tyrant Body of Desolation, the Tyrant Body of Desolation, and the 9 Nether Tyrant Body were extremely powerful. It was precisely because he had achieved the Tyrant Body that Long Ao was prepared to use the Desolate Tyrant Body to resist the 100 tribulations. According to Long Fu, as long as the 3 of them could resist the power of the 100 tribulations, he believed that it would be very helpful to his Desolate Tyrant Body. Of course, Longao wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. With the help of the overlord body of desolation, he chose to take on the disaster head-on. Just like that, the power of the thunder calamity struck Longao and the other two people one after another. Each thunderbolt was stronger than the previous one. It was as if the speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, the power of 50 thunderbolts had been struck. Is Longao out of his mind? I'm already used to it. 3 months ago, Longao broke into the Blood Sea sect alone and killed 10 honorables and 3 supremes. If he could do such a thing, how could he resist the lightning tribulation head-on? As long as everyone thought of what Longao had done 3 months ago, they would feel a deep sense of powerlessness. This was because the matter of Longao slaughtering the Blood Sea sect could be said to be unprecedented and would never happen again. Because of this, when Longao resisted the 100 tribulations head-on, many people didn't choose to ridicule or despise him. Instead, they chose to look forward to it. They wanted to see if Longao could resist the power of the 100 tribulations head-on. So what if it's the power of the 100 tribulations? I'll let you see my desolate tyrant body. Before the crowd could react, the dragon and tiger roared again. Then, Long Chong and Long Ming turned into 2 rays of light and entered Longao's left and right arms. The divine dragon arm and hell tiger arm were completed in an instant. What's Longao trying to do? Everyone was curious. They didn't know what Longao was trying to do. Is he trying to fight with the 100 tribulations? Under everyone's curiosity and anticipation, Longao's body moved. Both of his fists smashed out fiercely. His whole body emitted a domineering air shield. This was the terrifying part of the desolate tyrant body. The desolate physique was the #1 physique since ancient times. Under Longao's luck, he condensed the unprecedented desolate tyrant body, which was extremely powerful. Longao had a feeling that his desolate tyrant body could resist the power of the 100 tribulations head-on. The desolate tyrant body combined with the divine dragon arm and hell tiger arm's power was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Both of his fists smashed the 100 tribulations fiercely. The desolate tyrant body resisted the power of the 100 tribulations head-on. This battle was earth-shattering. Everyone was dumbfounded as they watched the battle between the 100 tribulations. Although Longao had slaughtered the people of the 5 biggest sects, the disciples of the 5 biggest sects didn't have the slightest resentment. Instead, they admired Longao, who had succeeded in turning the tide. This was how people's minds worked, especially losers. Longao's background had been dug out. 10 years ago, Longao was the #1 genius of the Red Fire Town. However, in just one day, he had fallen from a super genius to the #1 trash. He had been treated coldly and ridiculed for 10 whole years. However, Longao still persevered. He persevered for an entire 10 years. Just this point alone, who could do it? Longao not only did what others couldn't do, but he also reaped the rewards. For some unknown reason, Longao suddenly rose and soared to the sky at the fastest speed. In just a few months, he had successfully entered the 100 battle ranking and the Fengyan ranking. He had turned the tide and become a man above all. They couldn't help but admire Longao's perseverance. However, everyone admired Longao's courage even more. He founded the Ghost King's sect alone, fought the world for his beloved, and finally won her back. After a few months, Longao once again broke into the Blood Sea sect alone. Not only did he kill 10 venerables, but he also killed 3 supreme venerables. He also slaughtered the Blood Sea sect, including the 5 biggest sections. In the end, if it wasn't for the earthly venerable, Longao could have escaped unscathed. With such a counterattack, Longao had become the idol of the young people of the 9 states. Because of this, everyone didn't leave the boundless Blood Sea. Instead, more and more people gathered. They wanted to see how Longao could resist the power of the 100 tribulations. However, to everyone's surprise, Longao actually took the initiative to attack the 100 tribulations. It seemed that he didn't put the 100 tribulations in his eyes. A powerful person was a powerful person. He was always so domineering. In everyone's heart, they were looking forward to Longao surviving the 100 tribulations and becoming the venerable of nothingness. This was the reality. If one wanted to live well in this man-eat-man world and be respected by everyone, then there was only one way, and that was to constantly become stronger. In the blink of an eye, the 100 tribulations had already struck down 60 thunder tribulations. It only took a few seconds. One could imagine how fast the 100 tribulations were. It only took a blink of an eye. P.S. Chapter 10 has been delivered. Looking at the watch, it's 1:30. Hurry up and go to sleep. Brothers, can you tip me and vote for me to support Little Nine? Chapter 312. He simply ignored the power of the 100 tribulations. Longao used the desolate tyrant body, the divine dragon arm, and the underworld tiger arm to directly collide with the 100 tribulations. This time, the speed of the 100 tribulations was obviously faster. In 1 second, the remaining 40 lightning tribulations were all superimposed. Longao spat out blood, but in the end, he still withstood it. Break for me! With a loud roar, Longao's entire body rushed into the 100 tribulations. With just one move, he smashed the 100 tribulations away. The dark clouds began to disperse, and in the blink of an eye, the sky was clear. Successfully past the tribulation, everyone stared blankly at the scene that just happened. It was simply too shocking. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, no one would believe that in this world. There was actually someone who could break through the 100 tribulations with one punch. Longao stood back in the martial arts field. Long Chong and Long Ming had already entered the Dragon Seal space to refine the power of the 100 tribulations and completely transform the spiritual energy in their bodies into spiritual energy. This time, successfully passing the 100 tribulations, Longao was also overjoyed. The true venerable realm. Longao was very clear in his heart that it was all thanks to the mysterious blood water in the blood pool that he was able to survive this calamity. Otherwise, the current him would already be deader than dead. 3 months ago, his cultivation was forcefully broken through to the venerable realm by the fire Qilin, so he couldn't feel the true power of the venerable realm. But now, the situation was different. He had successfully passed the 100 tribulations and had become a void 100 tribulations warrior. As long as he borrowed the power of the 100 tribulations to transform all the spiritual energy in his body into spiritual energy, then it meant that he had officially stepped into the void venerable realm. After slaughtering the Blood Sea sect, not only did he get his revenge, his cultivation had also broken through to the void 100 tribulations realm. He didn't know if there was a blessing after surviving a disaster. Deep breaths. At this time, Longao looked around coldly and said, "Today's matter, I don't need to exaggerate." Senior Longao. Waving his hand, Longao was very depressed. He wasn't old, so how could he call him Senior Longao? You don't have to call me Senior. Longao didn't want to waste any more words. He turned around and left quickly. Longao's hair and eyebrows had turned from white to blood red. Perhaps it was because he had swallowed the blood. But in these 3 months, his appearance had changed completely. Dressed in black, with long blood-red hair and 2 blood-red eyebrows, Longao looked especially mysterious and powerful at this moment. In the blink of an eye, the news that Longao was not dead and had successfully passed the 100 tribulations had spread throughout the 9 states. Hearing this news, everyone thought that it was a rumor, but after it was confirmed by the Ghost King sect, everyone turned around. Longao didn't die? Furthermore, he had successfully passed through the 100 calamities and attained the position of void calamity? Everyone found it hard to believe. After all, everyone clearly knew what the blood pool of the Blood Sea sect meant. It was precisely because of this that everyone sighed. Longao actually didn't die. Instead, he had truly achieved the Nihility 100 calamity realm. Without a doubt, with Longao's talent, he would be able to officially become a Nihility venerable in less than a month. Longao had caused a ruckus in the Blood Sea sect. In the end, Longao himself was fine, but the entire Blood Sea sect was massacred and destroyed. Sound of Thunder sect, Back Mountain. Seeing Longao suddenly appear, whether it was Dugu Bai or Xia Jun, it was as if they had seen a ghost. They immediately dismissed everyone. Xia Jun still didn't dare to be sure. He said, "There was a rumor before that you didn't die and had successfully passed through the 100 calamities. I didn't believe it, but I didn't think that you really didn't die. This is great." Longao smiled. He had treated the two of them as true friends. "It's great to see you." The three of them fiercely hugged each other. Dugubai said apologetically, "Brother Long, we've let you down for not going through life and death with you. In the end, we're just afraid of death." Hearing Dugubai's words, Xia Jun's face revealed a trace of shame. Because as Dugubai had said, any reason was fake. In the end, the two of them were just afraid of death. Longao smiled and didn't care. "Brother Dugu, Brother Xia, friends are valued in their hearts. It's not about blindly throwing your lives away. Are you saying that if you die for me, you're friends? If you don't die for me, you're not friends? This matter is already in the past. No one is allowed to mention it again." Looking at the young man in front of them, the two of them nodded. "Brother Long, your hair and eyebrows?" Longao had of course seen his hair and eyebrows. They were too domineering. To be honest, he liked the color of his hair. It was much better than his white hair. "I don't know." Helplessly shrugging, Longao continued, "When I was thrown into the blood pool by Guan Hang, I felt my soul leaving my body. After that, I didn't know anything else. Just like that, I stayed in the blood pool for 3 months and absorbed all the blood water in the pool. At that time, I felt the power of disaster." Longao narrated everything that had happened to him in full detail. He did not exaggerate, nor did he conceal anything. However, when Dugubai and Xia Jun heard his narration, they were shocked to the core. Breaking through the power of disaster with one punch. Just this point alone was something that the two of them couldn't do. It was too powerful. Xia Jun fiercely swallowed his saliva and asked, "Brother Long, your cultivation has reached the level of venerable void?" Nodding, Longao smiled and said, "These few days, I've been refining my body. The heavens don't disappoint those who work hard. Just yesterday, all the spiritual energy in my body turned into spiritual energy. Success. Brother Dugu, if I'm not wrong, you should have just passed through the disaster and haven't reached the level of venerable yet." Nodding, Dugubai said proudly, "Brother Long, I won't hide it from you. The reason why I was able to break through so quickly is because of you." "Thank me?" Longao was very curious. He stayed in the blood pool for 3 months and didn't see Dugubai. Why would he thank him? "Ha ha ha, 3 months ago, you fought against 10 venerables and killed 3 supremes. You were too arrogant. Maybe I learned something from watching the battle, so not long after I came back, I successfully attracted the disaster." With a deep sigh, Dugubai continued, "I'm not a freak like you who can break through the disaster with one punch. I borrowed the power of the sect to barely pass through the disaster. And according to my calculations, I still need a month to convert all the spiritual energy in my body into spiritual energy and reach the level of venerable. So that's it. Brother Xia, what about you?" "Brother Long, I also watched your battle and was inspired. Because of that, my cultivation broke through the Tao Ancestor realm and reached the peak of the Tao Ancestor realm. I believe that it won't be long before I can also sense my disaster." Hearing that Xia Jun had also reached this level, Longao was very happy. It seemed that he had done a good thing. At least he had helped his two friends learn something and improve their strength quickly. Chapter 313. After chatting for a while, Longao thought for a while and asked, "Brother Dugu, I received news that Guan Hang was mentioned by the law enforcement Heavenly Sovereign. What is going on?" A Heavenly Sovereign was a super existence above an earthly sovereign. Longao originally wanted to take revenge, but he did not expect that Guan Hang had been killed by the law enforcement Heavenly Sovereign. Until now, Longao still did not know what this law enforcement Heavenly Sovereign was or where he came from. Dugubai had already guessed that Longao would ask about this, so he was not surprised at all. "Brother Long, do you know about the 4 great overlords of the 9 states?" "I don't know. The 4 great overlords of the 9 states are the East Royal City, the West Third Grade Long Family, the South Netherworld Mansion, and the North Ethereal Palace. third grade Long family? Longao was surprised to hear that there were 4 more great overlords in the 9 states. Moreover, there was the third grade Long family among the 4 great overlords. Others might not know what the third grade Long family meant, but how could Longao not know? The Long family had countless branches and was divided into 9 levels. They were the 9th grade Long family, 8th grade Long family, 7th grade Long family, 6th grade Long family, 5th grade Long family, 4th grade Long family, 3rd grade Long family, 2nd grade Long family, and 1st grade Long family. Longao knew very well that the Long family below the 4th grade could not be considered a real Long family. It was just a name. As everyone knew, the Long family was most famous for being a dragon warrior. Would there be a dragon warrior among the 4th grade Long family and below? Long family had a rule that only the 3rd grade Long family and above could send disciples into the Dragon Valley to obtain a dragon partner and become a dragon warrior. Once a 4th grade Long family member became a dragon warrior, not only would they not be valued by the Long family, but they would also be destroyed. Brother Long, after the battle between the 4 overlords, the 4 families were greatly damaged. They haven't appeared for many years. Who would have thought that the battle between the Ghost King sect and the Blood Sea sect would draw out the Imperial City and send out a law enforcement Holy Lord? Nodding, Longao already knew what had happened. If one wanted to know how strong the 4 overlords were, they only needed to look at how the Imperial City could casually send out a heavenly venerable to know how strong the 4 overlords were. Big Brother Dugu, what's up with the Imperial City's law enforcement, heavenly venerable? Smiling helplessly, Dugubai said, back then, the 4 great overlords all wanted to dominate the 9 provinces. However, with the 4 great overlords, it was impossible for a true overlord to appear. That is precisely the reason why the 4 great overlords each created their own ghost sect. As for the Imperial City Writ, it is the ghost sect created by the Imperial City. Anyone who sees the Imperial City Writ must obey it. Otherwise, they will be killed without question. What a tyrannical rule. Longao didn't look down on the Imperial City because this was a world where the strong survived and the weak were on the right. Since the Imperial City could set its own rules, there was no doubt that the Imperial City had the capital to do so. If the Sound of Thunder sect were to create a ghost sect, would they have the strength to do so? In order to strengthen their position, the Imperial City not only created the Imperial City Writ, but also created the Law Enforcement Heavenly Venerable. The Law Enforcement Heavenly Venerable is in charge of the Heavenly Venerable Army in the 9 provinces. I really didn't think that the Imperial City would suddenly appear, and the Imperial City Writ and Law Enforcement Heavenly Venerable would appear at the same time. Longao didn't care because whether the Imperial City appeared or not had nothing to do with him. Seeming to have thought of something, Longao asked, Big Brother Dugu, the Ghost King sect became a subsidiary sect of the Imperial City? Nodding, Dugubai also sighed and said, I'm afraid that no one would have thought that the Ghost King sect would be a subsidiary sect of the Imperial City. No wonder they were so arrogant. The destruction of the Blood Sea sect this time is a bit sad. His words made sense. Longao knew very well that with Guan Hang's strength, unless a heavenly venerable intervened, it would be very difficult for the Ghost King sect to kill Guan Hang and destroy the Blood Sea sect. Brother Long, the Ghost King sect now has the backing of the Imperial City. Not to mention dominating the Tianzhou. Even dominating the 9 prefectures wouldn't be difficult. Nodding, Longao agreed with this point. Brother Long, previously when you caused a ruckus in the Blood Sea sect, a giant dragon appeared in the end. If I'm not wrong, you should be a dragon warrior, right? Since things had already come to this point, Longao didn't continue to hide it. Nodding, he said, back then, I accidentally obtained this little fellow and became a dragon warrior. Dugubai's expression was extremely solemn as he said, Brother Long, do you know the rules of the Long family? Nodding, Longao naturally knew the rules of the Long family very well. Long family. Only the Long family of rank 3 and above had the qualifications to enter the Dragon Valley. Once the Long family of rank 4 and below had a disciple who became a dragon warrior, the Long family would severely punish them. Regarding this rule, Longao felt a headache. After all, the Dragon Valley was already occupied by the Long family. Then, The giant dragons outside the Dragon Valley couldn't benefit the lower Long family. However, Longao was even more clear that the Long family's strength was too strong. Just a rank 3 Long family was enough to dominate the 9 prefectures. It was hard to imagine how terrifying a rank 1 Long family would be. Dugubai didn't need to say anything. Longao already knew what Dugubai was worried about. When he caused a ruckus in the Blood Sea sect, Long Chang's identity had already been exposed. If nothing unexpected happened, the rank 3 Long family would definitely know that he was a dragon warrior. Not long after, trouble would come endlessly. Brother Long, I don't need to say anything more. How do you plan to deal with the rank 3 Long family? Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earthweir. Dugubai and Xiajun were already used to Long Ao's domineering and bravery. However, the two of them were still very worried. No matter what, the rank 3 Long family's strength was there for all to see. They were able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Imperial City. Brother Long, if you are willing, why don't you hide for the time being and wait for the limelight to blow over? How could Long Ao not know about the two's worries? He waved his hand and said, No need, I will handle this matter myself. Taking a deep look at Long Ao, Dugubai and Xiajun deeply sighed. The two of them were very clear about Long Ao's character. Once he had decided on something, he wouldn't change it under normal circumstances. Otherwise, Long Ao wouldn't have barged into the Blood Sea sect alone and crazily fought the world. Dugubai seemed like he wanted to say something, but in the end, he endured it. At this time, Xiafang appeared in front of the three. His expression was very grave as he said, Long Ao, quickly leave this place. Seeing Xiafang, the three people's faces changed greatly. Without waiting for the three people to ask, Xiafang already couldn't wait and said, Third-rank Long family's people have come. They said they want to see Long Ao. P.S. My keyboard wasn't working this morning, so I used my phone to write a chapter. I'll have to buy one later. Sorry for the trouble. Don't worry, I'll try my best to write faster. Chapter 314. Level 3 Long Family? Hearing Xiafang's words, Long Ao and the other two were shocked. What they were afraid of really happened. Brother Long, quickly leave this place. Go as far as you can. Remember, don't act recklessly. Level 3 Long Ao is not someone the Blood River sect can compare to. Supremacy? Dugubai and Xiajun knew very well that even if Long Ao's cultivation had broken through to supremacy, he was nothing in front of the level 3 Long family. Not to mention the entire Long family, even if the Long family sent a heavenly venerable, they could easily kill Long Ao. This was the strength of the level 3 Long family. Before Long Ao could get up and leave, a cold snort was heard. Then, a middle-aged man walked in. Coldly looking at the four, Fang Hong said, Xiafang, you want to go against the Long family? Hearing this, Xiafang's face instantly turned cold. He was extremely frightened. No matter what, the level 3 Long family was one of the 4 overlords of the 9 states. If they wanted to deal with the Sound of Thunder sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. This time, the Sound of Thunder sect was in big trouble because of Long Ao. This matter has nothing to do with the Sound of Thunder sect. If there's anything, find me. Fang Hong nodded with a smile and said, Xiafang and the Sound of Thunder sect are loyal. My Long family will not touch them. You are Long Ao? Yes. Just as Long Ao finished speaking, a powerful aura exploded from Fang Hong's body and fiercely suppressed Long Ao. Gotcha. If he did not resist with all his strength, just the aura suppression alone would be enough to take Long Ao's life. Ha ha ha, not bad, not bad. The aura disappeared and Fang Hong suddenly laughed. At the same time, he said, Long Ao, you are only a disciple of the Red Fire Town's Long family, but you have a dragon companion. Now, I will bring you back to the Long family. As expected, Long Ao was not surprised at all. He said calmly, Senior, I have a request. I wonder if you can agree to it? Go ahead. Fang Hong clearly had a good impression of Long Ao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said so much nonsense. I still have a lot of important things to do. I hope that Senior can give me a month. After a month, I will wait for you here. All right, I'll give you 1 month. With that, Fong Hong stood up and left. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared without a trace. Fong Hong agreed. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, everyone was a little dumbfounded. After all, the level 3 Long family was obviously here to capture Longao. But what was the result? Brother Long, this person seems to treat you well. Nodding his head, Longao shook his head and said, no matter what, I will not easily trust anyone. The rank 3 Long family will not let this matter rest. Brother Long, what do you plan to do? 2 hours later, Longao left the Sound of Thunder sect and went directly to the Ghost King sect to look for Aoshue. 3 months ago, he had caused a ruckus at the Blood Sea sect and almost lost his life. After surviving this disaster, Longao's state of mind seemed to have undergone a great change. After the news of Longao's rebirth spread throughout the 9 states, the #1 spot on the Wind Cloud list fell back to Longao. Not only was he #1 on the Tianzhou Wind Cloud list, but he was also #1 on the 9 states Wind Cloud list. He was the #1 person in the younger generation. Before Longao went to the Ghost King sect, he inadvertently received a piece of news. The Long family of Red Fire Town was not destroyed because someone had seen the disciples of the Long family of Red Fire Town. After receiving this news, Longao was extremely excited and happy. The battle 3 months ago was all for the sake of his family. Now that he received news that his family was fine, how could Longao not be happy? But in the vast Tianzhou, to find one's own clan was not an easy task. However, Longao did not choose to give up. He thought of countless ways and finally received news of his family. Longao's peak. Ever since Longao's death, the entire Long family seemed lifeless and even began to decline. This was the disadvantage of a person who was too strong. Once Longao fell, the Long family could not hold on and did not even dare to show their faces. Just as Longao appeared in front of Longao's peak, he heard a cry of surprise. Longan's eyes were wide open as he stared at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him. He was dressed in black, had blood-red hair, and 2 blood-red eyebrows. Wasn't this 7th brother? Longan did not go to welcome Longao. Instead, he shouted at the top of his lungs. Not long after, the news of Longao's return had spread throughout the Long family. In just a few minutes, everyone in the Long family rushed out. When they saw Longao, Mu Lin fainted. After all, she had missed him for 3 months and could not hold on any longer. Ha ha ha, good. It's good that you're back. Long Haosher laughed. He looked a lot more relaxed. After all, his most outstanding grandson was not dead. Just this point alone was enough. Longao's sudden return caused everyone to be completely excited. Each and every one of them was in high spirits. The originally lifeless Long family instantly glowed with brilliance. Each and every one of them seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. They couldn't wait to hug Longao and kiss him a few times. Everyone chatted for a while. Longao first accompanied his mother for a while before coming to the main hall. At this moment, the main hall of the Long family was already full. There were only 3 people in the main seats: Long Haosher, Wang Yidao, and Mu Wanfeng. Aoer, tell us, what happened 3 months ago? Everyone was somewhat impatient. No matter what, they had only heard about what happened 3 months ago. They did not see it with their own eyes. Longao did not hide anything about the battle in the Blood River sect, because everyone in the main hall was the closest to him in this world. Then, Longao began to tell the story. It took him a whole 2 hours. After listening, everyone sighed. Wang Yidao said with emotion, I really did not expect Aoer to be able to kill 10 Venerables and 3 Supremes. I only used a secret technique to forcefully increase my strength. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do it. Longao said casually. But everyone knew how dangerous the battle 3 months ago was. Otherwise, Longao would not have been killed. In any case, Longao did not die. This was a great thing for the Long family. Grandfather, not long ago, the rank 3 law enforcement heavenly sovereign of the Long family looked for me. Rank 3 Long family. Hearing his grandson mention the rank 3 Long family, Long Haosher and the others were shocked, because everyone knew what the rank 3 Long family meant. Long Haosher did not know why the rank 3 Long family suddenly looked for his grandson. Ao, why did the rank 3 Long family look for you? Because of the Dragon Warrior. Dragon Warrior. Others might not know about it, but Long Haosher and the others knew it clearly. Chapter 315. Dragon Warrior. Long Haosher already knew why the rank 3 Long family was looking for his grandson. If it was any other matter, it would be easy to deal with. But Long Haosher knew that this matter was troublesome. Long family had a rule that no one below rank 4 was qualified to become a Dragon Warrior. Otherwise, they would be killed. For so many years, any Long family disciple below rank 4, even if they had the chance to become a Dragon Warrior, would choose to give up due to the suppression of the Long family. Long Ao was only a disciple of the Scarlet Fire Town Long family. He did not have the qualifications to enter the Dragon Valley, much less become a Dragon Warrior. Ao, how will you deal with this? Grandfather, I have already made an agreement with this law enforcement heavenly sovereign. 1 month later, I will follow him to the rank 3 Long family. No matter what, I have to face this matter. As if he had already guessed it, Long Haosher sighed deeply. Ao, this matter is very troublesome. If you go to the rank 3 Long family, it will be difficult for you to return. Grandfather, I know what you are worried about, but I have to go to the rank 3 Long family. If I retreat, I believe that the rank 3 Long family will vent their anger on the family. I cannot implicate the family. Looking at his grandson, Long Haosher suddenly realized that the family had become a burden to his grandson. Without the family, would Ao still need to go to the rank 3 Long family? With his grandson's current strength, if he deliberately hid, it would not be easy for the rank 3 Long family to find him in the vast continent. Before Long Haosher said anything, Long Ao already understood his grandfather's meaning. Grandfather, I have already decided. No matter what happens, I will go to the rank 3 Long family. There was no way to avoid it. Long Ao was very clear that if the family wanted to become stronger, they must first gain the recognition of a high-rank family. If there was a chance, the family could enter the Dragon Valley and produce a few Dragon Warriors. The family's situation would completely change. Because of this, Long Ao decided that no matter what happened, he would go to the rank 3 Long family. Long Haosher knew his grandson's character very well. There was no other way. The only thing he could do was to work hard to develop the family's strength and strive to not let the family continue to be a burden to Ao. Long Ao did not want to continue this topic and change the topic. Grandfather, how is the family now? Not bad. Having lived for so many years, Long Haosher naturally understood that Long Ao did not want to dwell on this issue. Long Haosher smiled and said, after 3 months of hard work, Long Ao Peak has begun to take shape, and with the help of your pills and spiritual balls, many disciples of the family have already broken through to the Xiantian realm. If this continues, I believe many people will reach the Xiantian realm. Innate realm. If it was the Long family in the past, the Xiantian realm was already considered pretty good. But now, the situation was completely different. As his strength continued to grow, Long Ao's horizons also slowly widened. Originally, he thought that the powerful Star Cloud Kingdom and Thunder Empire were the pinnacle. However, he didn't think so. Above the Thunder Empire, there were still 6 great sections. What about now? Long Ao realized that the 6 major sects were not the overlords of the Tianzhou. The real overlords of the Tianzhou and even the 9 states were the East Royal City, the Long family in the west, the House of the Underworld in the south, and the Misty Palace in the north. In front of the 4 overlords, the 6 major sects were nothing. As long as the 4 overlords wanted to, they could easily destroy the 6 major sects at any time. Long Ao was very clear that in front of the 4 overlords, his family was simply too weak. The 4 overlords were the 5 major sects. If they wanted to destroy the family, it would be as easy as crushing an ant. In the 9 states where experts were as common as trees in the forest, the Xiantian realm was just like an ordinary person. Long Ao did not speak out his thoughts, because in his grandfather's opinion, the Xiantian realm was already very strong. After all, The family's starting point was too low, and it was too difficult to improve in a short period of time. Grandfather and the family cannot help you, but you must remember one thing. No matter what happens, the family is your family. If you are tired, come back. Longao sighed deeply in his heart. He really felt very tired. After such a long period of life and death tempering, he was already exhausted. But Longao was very clear that he could not rest, not even for a minute. After seeing the time outside, Longao knew that if he stopped, he would have to pay double the price to catch up later. Moreover, if he stopped for a moment, he would be drowned. Come with me. Long Haosher gestured to the others, stood up and left with Long Ao. As for Wang Yidao and Mu Wanfeng, their faces were full of envy. With such a grandson, no matter what danger they encountered, it was worth it. Long Ao Peak, in an extremely secluded ancestral hall. All the ancestral tablets of the Long family were enshrined here. Seeing his grandfather bring him to the ancestral hall, Long Ao was very curious. He did not know what his grandfather wanted to do. Grandfather, come with me. Long Haosher waved his hand. His expression was particularly solemn. He led Long Ao into the ancestral hall. The silent ancestral hall was very gloomy. Grandfather. Ao kneeled down. Although he was very curious and did not know what his grandfather wanted to do, Long Ao still knelt down in front of the ancestral tablets. Our Long family was a 9th-rank family. Because of you, we were promoted to a 6th-rank family. But did you know that a talented super expert also appeared in our Long family? Long Ao was very puzzled. He really did not know about this. When did the family have such a powerful ancestor? No one in the Long family knows about this. Only the head of the family of each generation has the right to know. This ancestor is called Long Batian. Back then, he rose to power like you. In just a few years, he became a super expert. However, Long Batian was too conspicuous, and in the end, he provoked a 1st-rank Long family to kill him and suppress us. After so many years, almost all the geniuses in our family have fallen, and finally we have fallen to today's situation. Hearing this, Long Ao was shocked. He never thought that such a powerful person would appear in his family. In the end, he even provoked the Long family to take action. What did this mean? Long Batian? What a domineering name. Long Ao was very curious. What level of strength did this ancestor reach back then? Ao, you are the most talented person in our Long family. Therefore, I will pass Long Batian's inheritance to you. I hope that you can lead our Long family to glory. Hearing his grandfather's words, Long Ao finally knew why his grandfather brought him to the ancestral hall. Chapter 316. Accept the Old Ancestor's Inheritance? Although Long Ao did not know how strong the Old Ancestor was, he knew that the Old Ancestor was definitely very powerful. Otherwise, the Long family would not have acted. However, Long Ao did not agree. Grandfather, I cannot accept. Why is that? Ao, you must know that if you can inherit the Old Ancestor's inheritance, I believe that you will be able to break through to a higher realm in a short period of time. At that time, even if you go to the 3rd-rank Long family, you will have a greater chance. Shaking his head, Long Ao was still unwilling to agree no matter what Long Haosher said. How could Long Ao not know about his grandfather's worries? However, Long Ao had already thought about it. Even if he could obtain the inheritance and increase his cultivation quickly, so what? The place he was going to this time was the 3rd-rank Long Ao, one of the 4 overlords of the 9 provinces. According to the rules of the Long family, if a disciple of a lower-rank family became a dragon warrior, they would be killed without mercy. Because of this, Long Ao had no choice but to hold back. If something happened to him when he went to the 3rd-rank Long family, what would the family do? Long Ao thought for a moment and said, Grandfather, let's be realistic. The family cannot rely on me alone. If something happened to me, would the family also be destroyed? This is clearly not realistic. Long Haosher did not say anything because he also knew that this was not a solution. However, Longao was really worried about his grandson. If he could inherit the old ancestor's inheritance and increase his strength greatly, then it would not be difficult for Ao to keep his life. However, just as Ao said, if something happened to him, what would happen to the family? Ao, what do you mean? Grandfather, it's very simple. This opportunity cannot be given to me, but to Big Brother. Inger, that's right. Big Brother's talent is not bad. Now that he has broken through to the evolution realm, as long as he can obtain the old ancestor's inheritance, I believe that he will become a peerless expert in the future. And if something happens to me, the family will at least have Big Brother to take care of it. Longao was very clear in his heart that his big brother Long Ying's talent was really not bad. It was just that during this period of time, he had been suppressed by him. Some people in the Long family only knew about him and forgot about his big brother. Longao had already thought of a foolproof plan. As long as he could make his big brother into a peerless expert, then even if something happened to him in the future, there would be someone to take care of the clan and they would not decline. After thinking about it, his big brother was the most suitable candidate. Longao seemed to want to say something, but Longao spoke first. Grandpa, this matter is settled. I will go find Big Brother now. Longao sighed helplessly as he watched his grandson leave. Turning around, Longao slowly knelt down and muttered to himself, My Long family has been through so many twists and turns, and has never been able to rise up. I hope the old ancestor will bless us. Longao, what Ao just said is right. My inheritance must be given to someone else. Although Ao's talent is good, his personality is the same as mine. He is too showy. It is unknown where he can go in the future. The family cannot rely on him alone. Longao nodded. Although he was a little worried, since the old ancestor had spoken, there was nothing he could say. After a while, Long Ying had already entered the ancestral hall. Grandpa, Inger, I want to tell you something now. Outside the ancestral hall, Longao let out a sigh of relief. His big brother had received the old ancestor's inheritance. As long as he grew up, he believed that he would be able to protect the clan. He could also go to the rank 3 Long family without worry. Longao Peak, Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Kid, you are really powerful. You slaughtered the Blood Sea sect and didn't die. Helplessly shrugging, Longao thanked sincerely. Big Brother Qilin, thank you for your help this time. Otherwise, I would not have one. Kid, although you have successfully slaughtered the Blood Sea sect, now that the 4 overlords have appeared, with just you alone, although the Fire Qilin did not finish his words, the meaning behind his words was very clear. That was, Longao was nothing in front of the 4 overlords. Longao did not care about this because the strength of the 4 overlords was there for all to see. Even the Ghost King sect had to rely on the Imperial City. One could imagine how terrifying the strength of the 4 overlords was. Longao, do you know about the Void 8 Realms? Longao nodded. Of course, he knew about the Void 8 Realms. He said, the Void 8 Realms are the Void Disaster Realm, the Void Honorable Realm, the Void Sovereign Realm, the Void Earthly Honorable Realm, the Void Heavenly Honorable Realm, the Void Great Honorable Realm, the Void World King Realm, and the Void World Emperor Realm. Although Longao did not know why the Fire Qilin had suddenly brought up this topic, Longao still explained the Void 8 Realms one by one. Kid, you have just broken through to the Void Honorable Realm. There is still a long way to go before you reach the peak of the Void Realm. Moreover, if you want to shake the position of the 4 overlords, you must first break through the peak and become the Void World Emperor. The position of the World Emperor. It sounded simple, but in reality, it was extremely difficult. Longao knew that if he could really become the Void World Emperor, even the 4 overlords would have to avoid him. Could it be that there was a World Emperor among the 4 overlords? Big Brother Qilin. Don't ask me, I don't know. However, I saw the battle between the 4 overlords with my own eyes. I didn't expect that in just a few years, the 4 overlords had all recovered. If there are no accidents, the 4 overlords will once again fight for the position of Overlord of the 9 states. Longao had also thought of this. Otherwise, The imperial city and the third-level Long family would not have appeared for no reason. Moreover, the imperial city had directly used the imperial city order to send an enforcer heavenly honorable to destroy the Blood Sea sect and let the Ghost King sect take over the Tianzhou. The imperial city had supported the Ghost King sect. There was no doubt that the other three overlords, the western third-level Long family, the southern serene underworld, and the northern ethereal palace, would not take this lying down. They would surely fight for the position of overlord of the Tianzhou again. Longao could completely imagine that in the near future, the Tianzhou would become the first battlefield of the four overlords. At that time, it would be inevitable that the people would be plunged into misery and suffering. "Boy, have you decided?" Nodding, Longao said with a determined expression, "There are too many restrictions if I rely on my family alone. Long family alone is enough to make my family unable to rise again. Therefore, I must establish my own force and take advantage of this war to occupy a place." Longao had decided to establish other forces outside of his family. This way, without the restrictions of a Long family, he could rise in this chaotic world. Longao knew very well that sometimes it was not enough to rely on one's own strength. Only by establishing his own force could he stand firm in the 9 states. Force. The most important thing now was to establish his own force. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.